bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Well. How you doing? How you doing? Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Today's Monday, July 25th. 208 days into the new year. 158 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I am your oh-so-humble host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? Here we go. It's great to be back in the chair. It is another Monday. Great week straight ahead. No rest for the wicked. Tonight, we have a very special guest here live with me in the bunker. Sitting to my left, John Lund is here of Modern Masters. And tonight we're going to talk a little gaming. We're going to talk Pokemon Go. Maybe a little bit of hacktivism. And why the time is now for his new project, Modern Masters. Take your phone calls, too, a little bit later on. Tomorrow night, fresh from another trip to Egypt, John Anthony West is going to be here. And then on Wednesday night, the one and only Robert Schock is going to be back with us. And both Jaws and Robert were in Egypt together. And they got back this weekend, and they are our guests this week. Thursday night is another Fader night with John Rappaport. Of course, the call-in number tonight is 323-825-5045. So, in case you're wondering now, yes, John Lund is live with me in the studio, and I'll prove it to you right now. Say hi, John.
Hello, everybody.
That's all he gets. I just muted him. So, that's it, but we'll bring John here in just a minute. You can follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Facebook, YouTube, everything is Fade to Black, J Church Radio. You know what to do. Follow, like, and subscribe. Head straight over to the website. And if you are there now, click on those funny-looking 3 buttons that we all know and love. You can email throughout the show tonight, Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. Very simple to do. The sandbox is hashtag F2B. Come over and hang out with us. We will do a couple thousand tweets tonight. You want to participate in the conversation, always remember we don't bite. Fully interactive throughout the show. Also, if you have any questions or comments for myself or John in real time during the show, use the hashtag F2BQ. That's hashtag Fade to Black Questions in case you can't figure that out. And there you go. And I want to thank everybody for subscribing to the podcast. This is a live radio show. Okay, but every day, everything gets posted to our podcast. All apps, all formats are there. It's just $2 a month, and it's there for all of you that can't participate during the live show and the live broadcast. You want to drive to work and listen to Fade to Black, that's up to you, and it seems to me that that's the way it gets done. If the bosses only knew, right? They see you with your headphones on and your cell phone, and they think you're working, or they think you're listening to messages or whatever. But what you're really doing is listening to Fade to Black. That's cool. And we wonder why the economy's, so screwed up. It's because people are listening to the Fade to Black podcast instead of working. There you go. All right, we just got back from New York City. More on that in just a bit. We were out there for 4 straight days, and I'll tell you what we were doing and what we learned while we were out there. And now, last week we announced our newest sponsor here on Fade to Black. That is CCC Publishing. That's right. Just click on their banner right now over at jimmychurchradio.com. They've got a special going this month for all of the Fadernauts. And that is this. Check this out. You order Future Esoteric by author Brad Olson at a new special price. The price is actually $12.97. There it is. I just told you. $12.97. Go and click, and there you're also going to get another book for free thrown in the box from CCC Publishing. So go and do it now. Go click on the banner. Use the promo code Jimmy when you order. Also, Life Change Tea. Use the promo code Jimmy. Click on the banner. You're going to get free shipping. It's that simple. You can do that over the phone or online when you order. And my advice with getthetea.com is help yourself. Go and do it. I do the colostrum. And John will tell you. Hey, John, I'm going to turn on your mic. You're on. Say hello.
Yeah, I'm back.
How many bottles of supplements are sitting right in front of me?
Like 5 to 10.
It's 4, everybody. 5 to 10.
Well, there's more over there behind it.
Oh, there is. Okay. Well, I do those 4. Okay, that's 5 to 10. Oh, man. Okay, you're back on mute, John. John's fired. Clean out your desk. But no, I do. And everybody around me, my friends, my family, everybody does get the tea. Okay? So there you go. LifeChangeTea.com. Ronnie McMullen has got one of the best companies in the world. And a Studio Dome, surround sound speakers, the best Bluetooth in the world as well. And their true wireless stereo technology, TWS, stereo Bluetooth hi-fi stereo system. Just use the promo code JCRTWS when you order, and you're going to get not only 60% off the retail price, get a hard shell case, $129 all in, but you also get free shipping. All right, the new Awareness Life Expo website launched this afternoon. Have you seen it, John? Have you seen the new Awareness Life Expo website?
No, I haven't checked out the new site.
Well, just go. Go right now.
All right, let's do it.
Go. Check it out. It's beautiful. It's up and running, and you can get there very simply. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com right now. On the right-hand side, you will see the appearances section, Awareness Life Expo. Click on it. Go and check out the site. All the info is there. All of the speakers. Full schedule. I think there's 3 different ticket packages that you can get. And then don't forget, we are broadcasting August 12th, that Friday, from the conference. And it's going to be great because Richard Dolan, Laura McDonald, Victor Camacho, Patty Greer, Holly Cook, Lane Caston, Brett Lauder is going to be there, Brett Lauder, and Chad Meek, and others, too, as well. So go and look at the full speaker list and the schedule. And I think on Saturday, I am going to host the Fade to Black UFO panel. And that is listed there, too, as well. So tickets and information, awareness.lifeexpo.com. All right, let's get the show cracking. Today, Matt LeBlanc is 49, and I like Matt. You know, I don't know if, John, the new, the Jeremy Clarkson show that Jeremy Clarkson just quit, whatever, out of the UK. Matt LeBlanc was the new host for that. And I guess the co-host and Matt didn't get along, so he quit.
Interesting.
Yeah. I always thought Matt was an easy guy to get along with, but apparently not. Ileana Douglas, one of my favorite actors. I don't know what's correct, the PC version of that. Is it okay to call actresses anymore? You know, I don't know. But anyway, one of my favorite actresses, Ileana Douglas, today is 51. She was in The Californian. She was in Otis Love that movie. 6 Feet Under, she was great in that series. And also Ugly Betty. Ileana Douglas today, 51. And there you go. Our dead guy's birthday today is Brad Renfro. And I do need a moment of silence. I was a huge Brad Renfro fan. Dug him. He died at the age of 25. He made his film debut at the age of 11 when he was in The Client, which was a great movie, going on to star in 21 feature films, several short films, and a couple of TV series. However, his career faded rapidly because he was a heroin addict and an alcoholic. Stole a boat in Miami, tried to steal a yacht, got caught. He constantly got probation. And I don't think anybody really recognized how troubled he was. And he died of an accidental heroin overdose at the age of 25 right here in his apartment in Los Angeles, January 15th, 2008. Tragic. Happy birthday, Brad, if you're listening. On this day in history, in 1978, big day, because Louise Joy Brown was born, the world's first test tube baby, born in England. Fader fact. I don't know if you know this, John, but the music industry has their own 1%ers. Okay, so you have, this is a fader fact, it's vetted. You have the 1%ers that make all the money in the world, right? Make all the money in the United States. And then there's all the rest of us that don't make the money, right? They make everything. Then you go to the 1/10 of the 1%ers, and they make all the money that the rest of the 1%ers aren't making, right? Yep. And you look at it on a chart and on a graph, and it's an insane amount of money that they are in control of, right? Yep. Well, the music industry has the same exact situation. The top 1% of bands and solo artists in the music industry earn 77% of all the revenue in the music industry.
I believe it.
Yeah. 77%. And so you wonder why, I talk about a starving artist, but if you're in the music industry today, you're broke.
Yeah.
It's the Madonnas and the U2s of the world out there that make all of the money.
And there's a good question about that. I mean, why does that happen?
I got a lot of friends there, man. Let's back off on that. But it's just a shocking number. It's not exclusive to the elitists of Wall Street, right? It's not the big bankers and the hedge fund dudes, right? It's the same thing in the music industry. I think one of the things, and we just got back from New York. I'm going to talk about that right now. We were at the Hope Conference, right? And HOPE stands for Hackers on Planet Earth. That's the HOPE Conference. Crazy place. Very cool. And so that group, and if you stop and you think about this, when not hackers in general, but just the rebels of the internet and computers and so forth, right? When it came down to creating things like Torrent and Napster and those types of file sharing services, suddenly the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and Van Halen and Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men and back then, what was going on in 97, 98, 99, 2000, Metallica, right? Everything suddenly, and it doesn't matter if it's just them, just anything was suddenly available. And so it took rebels out there to write that software, to create those websites. Once the MP3 was created and you could have a compression file and it was cheap enough to, get on your hard drive and not eat up your hard drive space and download it cheaply off of the net. Once that happened, it seemed like freedom was there. Right? Okay, we did it. We beat the man, right? Okay. But ultimately what ended up happening is this. You got to be careful what you wish for, because the record companies, as crooked as they were, if you got a record deal, you were basically getting a loan from the mafia at about a 60% VIG rate, right? So even if you went gold or platinum, you and your bandmates were making $25,000 each in a year, right? You got a gold record on the Billboard Hot 100, Top 200, right? It was there.
Yeah.
But the record company made $5 million, right? Your lawyer made money. The producer made money. Everybody made money but the band. But at least it was some money. Today, there are no more record companies, right? Well, they are, but the money made from record sales is nil. It's almost non-existent.
Yeah.
Because now anybody can go. You don't need a record label to go and get a record deal. Now you can record it yourself, put it out there. There's plenty of, go to iTunes or whatever. But what you don't have is the security of the record deal that you had in years gone by. Now, granted, you were getting screwed in that record deal, but at least you were getting some money. Today, we took down the man. I get that. But now there's no more record stores. So that money is gone. All those employees, everything that was done, to do that, all of that is gone. The support from the record labels and them developing a band and taking the risk and loaning you the money, all of that is gone. And in the end, where's the money? The only way to make money today, ringtones, maybe. But I'm joking here.
I think all the money's in concerts, right?
Concerts. The only way to make money now is you have to go out and play, because then you're going to get paid some money.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get it from sales. You're just not, unless some miracle happens. But it's really crazy how that counterculture, when it was fun, yeah, you did. You took down the man, right? Napster and... What was it? Who was the guy in New Zealand that had that huge file sharing that he was just they couldn't extradite him to the United States? I'm trying to think. BitTorrent. What was his?
I don't remember his name.
Oh man, he had I can't remember. But anyway, it's okay to be a rebel, but you have to watch what you wish for.
So what are you saying is the downside of that? What have we lost?
Well, like I said, if you're a band, what you don't have, okay, first off, the distribution model had the record industry responded correctly back in the day and embraced the internet instead of fighting it and Steve Jobs had the right idea with the Apple Store.
Right.
He did. And having the Apple iPod and being able to somehow tie in revenue, download, share that, and use the distribution system of audio and have a store for it. Had the right idea. But the record industry fought that, and they really didn't think it was going to win. And the record industry was so slow to respond to that by the time they did understand and could possibly have done two things at the same time, we could have kept our record stores, kept that distribution model, supported that, and at the same time have had, what if they, instead of shipping CDs to stores and stocking every Van Morrison CD ever made, which, 500 albums that guy made, right? Whatever. Is have kiosks in the store. Yeah. Walk into the store, whip out your credit card, and walk out with a burned CD of a custom file of whatever you want, or a USB drive, plug that in, or have it sent and downloaded to your computer once you got home, whatever, but embrace it instead of fight it. And then maybe today it would be different. The record companies would still be there supporting bands and A&R guys. Here in Los Angeles, at one point, there were record companies on every corner. Everybody was here, and Warner Brothers had one of the coolest buildings ever. Warner Electra Asylum, Atlantic had just these gorgeous buildings, epic, and all these, places around it. They're all gone, and Warner Brothers, I don't know for sure where they're at now. I know where they're at, but they probably occupy a handful of offices on the 5th floor of some nondescript building in downtown Burbank, where before they had a campus.
Right.
There used to be 500, maybe 1,000 A&R guys walking around Los Angeles with contracts hanging out of their pocket, looking for the next big band. And you know, how many A&R guys are in L.A. right now today? I'm going to guess a few dozen. I'm going to say it right now. A few dozen, maybe. I mean, who would want that gig? I mean, where's the future in it? You know, and it was different back in the day. And you know, when we had Geffen Records here and we had A&M Records, you know, it was these huge offices and buildings and employees and bands and excitement. All of that is gone. And why? Because Napster did it. And it sounded cool at the time, and it was dark and it was mysterious, and you could go and, what? Really? I can go and get every Ozzy Osbourne album for free? You know, it felt illegal. You know, it didn't feel right, but you still did it. And what the record companies decided to do back then was they forgot one thing. Back in the day, we had cassette tapes. And if a friend of yours bought an album, you went over to his house and you dumped the album down onto a cassette tape. Yeah, it had scratches and pops on it from the needle and stuff. You didn't care. Right? And the record companies didn't either. And they used the excuse of, well, it doesn't sound as good. Well, you know what? MP3s don't sound as good as CDs either.
That's just what I was going to say.
Yeah, there was serious degradation in sound quality. But they decided to fight it instead of realizing that bootleg tapes have been around forever, going back to Elvis Presley, you know, whatever. There were always bootleg tapes going around everywhere, and it was okay then. So don't fight this. Embrace it. But they chose not to. And now, you know what? All those guys are out of jobs. Everybody, you know, that whole industry has gone away. You know, having, you know, iTunes and the Google store and stuff, I understand that, but it's way, way late. And they've lost so much that they couldn't gain it back. There was no way to do it.
It would be interesting to see what the record industry would be like right now if they had embraced it early on, like how it would have evolved into this kind of more, you know, crowd-friendly sharing atmosphere.
Well, there's a few industries that, not in the music industry, but a few industries that have embraced it. So you have Target stores, you have Target online, right? You know, there are plenty of brick and mortar stores. I still enjoy going to a store. I still like to shop. Still like to do things. We just got back from New York City, and I got to tell you, shopping is alive and well in New York, you know, and there's still something about going and doing that. There are plenty of ways to buy a car online, but car dealerships are still here. You know, there's something you still need to go and do that. Embrace it. You know, have your online shopping experience, have your brick and mortar, get the two of them to blend together and coexist.
Yeah, you could see them using those record studios, those beautiful places as, you know, these live experience parts where people could come in and hear bands play live, and they could be a center for, you know, brick and mortar experiences in the same way.
All of those things should have been considered and were not. And now here in Los Angeles, which was the recording mecca of the entire world, you have Nashville and you have London, you have New York, and there was a scene in Miami for a while and San Francisco. But truly, L.A., this is where all the recording studios were. Not all, but it was a huge industry. Studio Row on Magnolia. You could drive down Magnolia, left-hand side, right-hand side, left-hand side, all the way down. These huge, great studios, Devonshire and Enterprise and O. Henry, and I'm just huge. Frank Sinatra had his, and Stevie Wonder, all the way down for blocks. They're all closed. Every one of them. I don't know any of them that are open anymore. There's just a handful here in Los Angeles now. So anyway, wow, I just spent 20 minutes talking about MP3s. But and what made me do that? Oh, the music industry and the 1%ers, you know? And so there you go. If you stop and think about that 1%er idea, them making 77%, it's not only true for the record industry, but it's the bigger bands that are getting paid on tour, you know, and it's the larger money. if you're making $5,000 a night, right, to go play somewhere, well, another band is getting $200, and the majority, $200 a night to lug. It's kind of funny. Only a musician will load $5,000 worth of gear in his 1995 Honda and drive to a gig and make $20.
Yeah.
Right? It's really crazy how that works, but it's the way the industry is. So you're going to have the majority of guys making $200 a night, $50 a night. Then you're going to have that small fraction that are making the $5,000, the $10,000 a gig.
Right.
You know, it's the way it is. Oh, let's see. Where am I at? Well, that was John Lund. I haven't introduced him yet of Modern Masters. He is our guest right after the break tonight. And we're going to talk a little bit of gaming. We're going to talk about Pokemon Go. Apparently, it was finally cracked. Did you see that? Somebody found all the Pokemons?
No, I haven't read that.
The last one was found in Central Park.
Yeah.
We were in Central Park yesterday. It's hard to believe I'm sitting in Burbank right now today. Yesterday, Rita and I were in Central Park, and Pokemon was alive and well in Central Park. And the guy that did it, that got all 142 characters, the last one was found, I think it was yesterday, in Central Park. We didn't see him win. I didn't hear the cheers go up, but apparently that happened yesterday. Tomorrow night, John Anthony West is here. Himself and Robert Schock just got back from Egypt. They were over doing a tour, and they both got back over the weekend, and that's what we're going to do. Tomorrow night, John Anthony West is here, and then Wednesday night, Robert Schock is back with us. Thursday night is going to be another Fader night with John Rappaport. The call-in number tonight is 323-825-5045. I have some exciting stuff that John and I are going to do tonight during the show. I've been told a little bit about it, but I told everybody, his team and Rita and everybody else, I don't want to hear about it. I want to catch this fresh like everybody else. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's going to be a great week here on Fade to Black. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. You can follow me on Twitter @jchurchradio. You can follow John. His is Modern Masters 22. That's @Modern Masters 22. This is Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I got to tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. It doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil three-letter. So, seriously. Give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
Hi, folks. Ronnie here reminding you that June is Health Awareness Month, sponsored by Get the Tea, GetTheT.com. Many of you have heard our tea commercial, maybe visited the website, but haven't committed because, well, you just don't know. Skeptical. We understand. Just to remind you, our tea is not just tea. In fact, very little tea. Life Change Tea is a unique blend of 8 different herbs, removing intruders that attack your health. You brew our tea to make the concentrate, you add water, and put in the fridge. 2 8-ounce glasses a day, and life will be good. Visit us at GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. And this month is lots of fun stuff with Health Awareness Month. You could be picked and receive your order absolutely free. You never know. Read the testimonies and try our products. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. And for great health tips, visit my YouTube channel at Health Matters Now, where you can learn about health tips and how products work on your body. Join me, GetTheT.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Klutsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station, where the Fade or Nots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back to Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Tonight, we have a very special guest with us live here in the bunker, John Lund of Modern Masters. And we're going to talk a little gaming tonight. We're going to talk some hacktivism. We're going to talk Pokemon Go and why the time is now for his new project and his team, the game Modern Masters. Tomorrow night, fresh from another trip to Egypt, John Anthony West is here. Wednesday night, Robert Schock is going to be with us. And then Thursday night, another Fader night with John Rappaport. But next up, in the batter's box, for real, he's swinging right now. He's got a sword in his hand, by the way. John Lund. Modern Masters is the world's first meta-reality game. In it, players embark upon a quest to master fundamental world skills and realize hidden human powers. Now, in its first meta-reality game, where the participants of the project not only create real change for themselves and their communities, but are also collaborators in the project. The structure, the rules, and content of the system are designed to evolve with the input of the network. And though every member will have equal access, we expect the community to settle into a pattern similar to other open source knowledge gateways. An example, a small proportion of the entire membership are active collaborators who are supported by a larger user base. Now, tonight, we're going to talk with John, one of the creators and a principal of Modern Masters Project. We will take your calls. We're going to talk gaming, the world of artificial reality, and how Modern Masters may change the world as we know it, and yours. And I would like to welcome to Fade to Black our good friend, John Lund. John, what's up?
Thank you, Jimmy. It's great to be here.
Now, see, this is the thing, John. I am normally alone in the bunker. It's a cool bunker, right?
Yeah, very cool.
It's pretty cool in here.
There's a sword here.
Yeah, there is a sword, by the way. There is a sword. You know, I'm going to grab this. Check this out. This sword was given to me. It's real. This sword was given to me from Alex Mistretta.
Who's that?
Alex Mistretta is a UFO researcher, but he was also a competitive
fencer, right?
Fencer.
Yeah.
Yeah, check it out. The thing's real.
It's very cool.
Yeah, isn't it, though? And, you know, it's very pointy at the end. That's why that cover is there, because, you know, seriously. I'm waiting for somebody to come crashing through the bunker door. You know,
it's a good way to defend yourself.
Yeah, I don't need anything that, you know, locks and loads, right? Whip this out, somebody's running.
Yeah.
This thing is for real. Okay, so anyway, it's great to have somebody here live with me, and it's really cool. It doesn't happen often. And so welcome to the bunker. And I noticed you opened the refrigerator.
I did.
Did you see the moonshine in there?
Yeah, I saw the moonshine.
Okay, all right. All right. Now, before we get into Modern Masters and gaming and the world of gaming, as you know, I'm a semi-retired gamer. We've talked a lot about gaming over the last 6 months together. So you know my affection for all things gaming and different types. So I'm going to really enjoy the conversation tonight. And I know that our audience is really into this. Everybody is into gaming of one kind or another, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
yep.
so we'll do that. But before, I didn't get a chance to talk in the intro about the Hope Conference. And so I want to spend some time on that. You do know a lot about that culture and what that's about. And I want to share with the audience what, not so much what I learned, but more about what I observed about that culture. Because first off, the hacker community it's a paradox in on itself. It's both big and small at the same time. They all know each other. They're very, very, very cool. They're very protective of themselves and the community, and it's very close knit. And you would think that, and we were talking before the show, you know, the black hoodies, the sunglasses, you know, the pale skin, and so forth. Although there was a little bit of that there, at Hope, they don't need to do that. Right? They don't need to, because they know each other and they trust each other.
Yep.
And it was an amazing thing to observe. Somebody like me that was obviously an outsider that nobody knew, and going there was both cool and uncool. I could tell that I was an outsider. I could tell that everybody there has been hanging out with each other for years, and they know each other and stuff. And then this guy shows up with a film crew and cameras and people and walking around there. It was rough, but and it should have been. I mean, that's okay, but it was also very cool to see them rally around each other. You know, it was like they circled each other with their backs to the center, and they kept the shield up, you know, and it was very cool to witness. And I talked to all of them about that. I hung out with some of the big players in the game. I was right there and had great conversations with them, and that was one of the things that I reflected back to them, was how cool it was for me to get rejected, right? You know, because and they're like, yeah, I get that, and you know, and my take was, that's a good thing, and that's a good thing for me to observe. You're not going to allow somebody to just come in and go, hey, what's up? And then the door swings open and they just let somebody in, and they're going to just, reveal's not the right word, but expose the culture to an outsider. It did not happen. It didn't happen to me. I was able to talk to some people eventually and hang out a little bit. But did I become one of, in the boys' club or anything? No, not even close.
So I think we'll talk about this later, but just to kind of to bring this idea together, right? It's a social system, and different social systems have different goals. And whatever the goals of those social systems are, help to determine the way that they are going to respond to other people coming in, and the way that they are going to treat newcomers, and the way that they're going to treat people that have been there for a long time, right? And so I think it is interesting, and I think it's valuable for especially the type of work and the type of social system that they are to do that and have that type of relationship.
Yeah, and that's exactly what went down. And it wasn't that I was, told secrets, or it wasn't that. But I think that they once they saw that I wasn't a threat, okay, then at least they would let me sit outside of the party, right, and kind of look in the door a little bit.
Yeah.
Not get run off the property, which was close to happening, by the way. But once they saw that I wasn't a threat and what was going on, it was okay to allow me to just kind of be a nonviolent observer, a peacekeeper from the outside. But what an interesting thing to observe, man. It's pretty nuts. Now, the other thing, I want to say to IDP really quick, I got all of your emails late. And IDP had some friends there that he wanted me to meet and so forth. And it didn't get pulled off. IDP, I saw all of that later, and I'll tell you why. At the conference itself, email and internet was an issue, and it was really interesting how it was an issue inside the conference. I don't know if it was intentional or not. I don't think it was personally directed at me. I think just in general, that was shut down. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I wasn't getting emails for 24 hours, and it was a pretty bizarre thing.
It could be similar to the same response, right? If they live in a digital world more than maybe a lot of other people do, and they're using that same way of relating to the outside world in that sense, right? They're kind of putting their backs together and defending themselves, or whatever that may be.
There's that, and also one thing that I saw over and over again. I don't think this is any big secret, but it is certainly a lifestyle. They practice staying off of the grid.
Right.
Okay. Cell phones, email, encryption. Everybody there, if they're sending a text, and I talked to them about that. They wanted to send me a text. I mean, dude, you are encrypted, right? And I am now, by the way. But that was really interesting how everything is completely off the grid. Yeah. I mean, that's nobody really has cell phones. I shouldn't say nobody. Let's just say this. There were quite a few people that I talked to that did not have cell phones.
Yeah.
They had an iPad, right, that they would send and receive their email from, but a cell phone itself, something like, no. And I'm not going to name names or say anything like that. I'm not going to do that. But I saw that over and over again. iPads were okay. A tablet was okay, just for email.
Well, Jimmy, I'm the same way. I got rid of my cell phone and I have a tablet, and it's all I use for that.
Yeah, isn't it? And again, exposed to that culture like that, you don't really think about. I guess you assume it. You assume, but then when you see it in action, it's pretty wild, man. It was pretty interesting. I had some very special credentials, right? Press credentials, and those are very limited there. When I was at when there was probably 3,000 or 4,000 people at this conference, and I only saw 2 maybe of my credentials. These. I'm not going to describe them. I posted them, but I don't want to get into that. But anyway, press access to this, media access. Very, 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 very limited.
Right.
So here I am walking around with these credentials, and I'm getting looked at, and it was really weird, man. I mean, nobody really wanted to talk to me. Nobody really wanted to look at me. It was pretty, man, now I know what it's like to be the runt of a litter, man, because that's what it felt like. Now, there was one other thing that apparently you knew about. I didn't, and Rita didn't know. And I'm not a rookie. Listen, everybody out there, I'm not a rookie when it comes to the dark web. I'm not a rookie when it comes to anonymous or hacktivism. I study it. I study Tor and Onion and numbers and what's going on and who's doing what. I've had many guests on this show dealing with this subject. I'm fascinated with it. I've watched and read everything that I can collect and talk to everybody. But that doesn't mean I'm part of the culture, right? And one of the things that I found out, which blew my mind, is if you're a hacker, you also know how to pick a lock. I didn't know this.
Yeah. So
I go. Now you did, right?
I didn't know that. Yeah. So when I was young, I was involved in this back in the day when Wares was the thing, and the that guy that was online, Anarchist Cookbook, right? These things when I was 13, 14, these things were out there, and I was involved in that, and hacking was fun. I was a computer guy, and so I learned a little bit about the history. I never got fully into it, but yeah. So I learned about that. It started at MIT, I think. From what I know, where they were, just these hacker groups were getting started, and they just wanted to get access to everything they could. And lockpicks at that time were one of the ways to do that.
Yeah. They want to break into things, and that's it. And what is breaking into something? Picking a door lock, picking a master lock, picking a lock, figuring out how to break into something. And so I'm there on the convention floor, and I see all of these lock picking companies selling lock picking tools and kits. And these guys had every padlock known to man on the table, right? And they're like, I'll pick it for you right now. I'll show you how to do it. And all kinds of tumbler locks and all of these things spread out in plexiglass cases and showing you how to do it. I was like, you got what? And it was just so funny. When they were like, no, okay, rookie little boy, come here. Let me tell you, this is the culture. This is part of the culture. Hackers like to break into things.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to tell a little story. So we're hanging out with Greg Hausch. And Greg, without getting into any detail, he's going to be on Coast to Coast with me this Friday, and he's going to be on Fade to Black next Tuesday. Okay. Now, Greg, I'll let Greg tell his story and his biography. It's really none of my business. I will let him tell everybody who he is and his background. But let's just say that he went to prison for some things. He was singled out. He went to federal prison for software things. Now, I'm going to let him tell that story. It's none of my business. But also his involvement with the first days of Anonymous, right?
Yeah.
So, but Greg is a hacker, and that's what he does, right? And he picks locks. And so I'm talking to him about this. We are at the same hotel together. And I go, dude, what's up? He goes, dude, man, I got a lockpick, and he goes, last night at the hotel where the Hope was, we were like, let's go up on the roof. And so we all go up, me and a bunch of my friends, and we go up, and there's the door's locked to the roof. And he goes, man, so I take out my kit and I picked the lock. And I was like, really, Greg? I hope Greg is listening right now because he's laughing at me because I was just, and for him, it was like, dude, what do you mean? It's what we do.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did. They went up until the police chased him off the roof. But that I didn't know about lock picking and hackers.
Yeah.
And it was a really fascinating thing. So you have a lock pick kit right now?
Not on me. I do have one though.
When was the last time you picked a lock?
Well, I tried learning, but it's really a technical process. And I think I was going to mention that's the other thing I think that is interesting about it for the hackers, because you have to learn. It's like solving a puzzle. Every time you come to a new lock, it's a new puzzle you have to solve, and you draw on all this knowledge of how the lock works and not only that, it's very dexterous, and you have to be very skillful in just using the tools. It's really interesting. It's really hard.
Yeah, and they had all of these kits laid out just like you see in the movies, Jason Bourne, whatever, 007, when they whip out that little leather case with all the tools in it. They're right there for sale. And then, of course, they chased the feds off the roof to IDP. Hey, not about breaking into things. IDP, apparently, I'm finding out, Idea Petri Dish, everybody knows in Twitter, our good friend, is posting. He had a lot of friends that were there, and apparently he knows about them on the roof. They chase feds off the roof, too. So, okay, where were we? Oh, so back to this culture. When Why do you think it is, John, that they, the hacktivists, hackers is a loose term because I think that there's a good side and a bad side. I think there's hackers that are into hacking because they know they're breaking the law. They're trying to get to money. They're trying to get to a data dump. They're trying to get to credit card numbers, and they're trying to get the stuff for sale on some a dark web Tor website, and I get that, and that stuff feels a little strange to me. I don't know, and I asked a lot of people about that this weekend. Should data mining. Should that kind of stuff and stealing databases and then turning around and selling it, should that be illegal? Why is data so valuable today when it's virtually, because of not only the hackers, but the way that it's stored out there on the net, it's virtually public information today.
Right.
So we have a paradox. I keep when it comes to hacktivism and hackers and anonymous, we are dealing with paradoxes all the time. It's very, very strange where you have something that's good and cool, and then you have something that's not, but yet they're both being done in the same way.
Yeah.
So it's a strange set of circumstances. Now, but what they are is they have a code of conduct that is there that is not violated. And if you do violate it, then you're thrown out of the car. You're not physically thrown out of the car, like you're not deleted from a database, but you're certainly not anybody's friend anymore. And it's a very lonely life.
Yeah.
They live this code of conduct, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, you have more personal experience with the group than I do. I know, of hacking from just my past when I was younger. And so, of course, yeah, the code of conduct is there. It's almost implied in a lot of cases, when you start learning about this stuff, about, how the internet was born and how these people kind of grew up in it and started to use it for their own ways. I mean, it's a really interesting history, and this code of conduct kind of evolved out of that, I think, of those inherent philosophies and of things at the foundation of the web.
Yeah, you wouldn't. I'll give you an example, and this was actually told to me just recently. You wouldn't at a party. Say you're at a party, right? You're just at a party with 100 people. Everybody's drinking, and then some guy from some chat room, some forum, recognizes somebody on the other side of the room. He happens to know their face, right? And what you would not do, and it has happened, is you go, hey, Red Robin, it's me, Freaky Fish.
Right.
What's up? You wouldn't do that. Man, I just knocked over a cup of coffee, and it just went down my ass, and it's now in the back of my chair. Did you guys hear that? Oh, no. Oh, my Kobe Bryant shorts. Okay. Anyway, I'm wiping down, folks. I'll be all right. You wouldn't do that.
Right.
You wouldn't reveal somebody in a public setting like that and blow somebody's cover. That's the one thing you just wouldn't do. And it has been done. And then Red Robin or Freaky Fish, whoever, made that kind of mistake, is no longer going to be spoken to in said forum or chat room or Twitter or what have you.
Yeah, and I think that comes from the idea, right, that when the net was growing, the idea was that it was a system that was set up against the kind of power structure that already existed, and a lot of the individual power that came from the net and why and how it's structured is anonymity, right? And Anonymous obviously is kind of taken that as their name for this reason, right? Is that so much of the power of what we can do on the internet is due to our anonymity, and privacy is a part of that, and that's kind of takes us back to what we were talking about before.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
Right. So this the whole system, right, is based on the ability to remain anonymous, the ability to hold on to that power in certain ways, and the stuff that this stuff that people are doing, that Anonymous are doing or other hackers are doing to take power back is specifically to remove the privacy that certain large corporations or people in control have been trying to keep tabs on. We were talking earlier about the recent hack against the leader of the DNC, right, the Democratic National Convention, and essentially, making the things that she has said public to the world. And that's all it takes, right? Is you're exposing somebody you're taking that layer of privacy away, whether it's real or not. Maybe you're just making the access to the information easier. But that's taking the power away from that person and then putting it in the hands of the people that have that.
And then you have this other issue. If you're going to dox somebody, you are now taking the chance of and the moral responsibility of exposing the people around them that are innocent players, their children, wives, sisters, brothers, family, mother, father, and all of that happens in a context where you're talking about somebody that just didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
And is that necessarily right? Now, if it is somebody that is totally evil, I mean, somebody that is so wrong and somebody that has done really, really bad things, and it's their fault that their family is now involved in this, then the community says, okay, well, that's okay, right? But if you are using it for a personal vendetta, something personal that you're going after somebody, and you go and dox them, and you're bringing down their family and expose and hurting the kids and everything else, and suddenly somebody's lost their job, and now this person can't buy food, and now they lose their house, and they're getting assaulted, all times of the day and night, and scaring the crap out of the family. Is that cool? I just don't know. Again, this is a world of paradoxes when we come to this environment. I think some of it is so noble and so needed in this world of zero transparency on so many different levels that it is great, and we do need this. We haven't had this kind of systems of checks and balances since the Tea Party days in Boston Harbor, right? Where exposing the man.
Well, yeah, but what you're saying isn't new, right? I mean, journalists have been doing this forever. I mean, you expose a corrupt politician or whatever it may be, and their family does get attacked. I mean, regardless of whether their personal information is shared on the internet, this has been happening forever, right? And whether that's immoral or not, I mean, maybe it comes down to the people that are responding to it, right? We, as individuals responding to this information, maybe we should be more careful about how we respond to it, how we react to it, and try and separate the family members from the people that have actually done the wrong things, right?
Right. And okay. And this is where things get really cloudy. And I'll give you an example. It is so illegal to go and open up somebody's mail from their mailbox, touch it, right. Go and if you open up somebody's mail, you're going to prison. You get caught reading somebody's mail. It doesn't matter if it's a bill or if it is from a debt collector or a letter from your mom, right? You get caught doing that, that's a federal crime. Everybody has a reasonable expectation to your privacy. And if a letter is getting sent in the mail, that nobody's going to read it because of the laws that are behind it, right? And the fear factor, the penalty of breaking, right, that law. But today, your email, if it can be hacked and put online for the world to read. Now, where's the reasonable expectation to that privacy? And that's where things get a little funky.
Yeah.
With this recent DNC dump, right, that just went to WikiLeaks. It forced the resignation or the firing of the DNC chair. And she didn't even get the gavel. You know, they were going to have her gavel and open the ceremonies, not speak, and then gavel out and close. Now that's it. They took her gavel away, right? She didn't even do that. And it's because of this dumping of email. So now anybody out there, it's a good thing. It happened to Amy, what's her name at Sony Studios. It is the reasonable right to privacy isn't there any longer. If you have an email account, you have to today. If you are stupid enough to put something in an email that you're going to regret later, then that's on you, right? That's purely on you. I am lucky if somebody broke into my email, right, and posted it online. I will say this right now. There is nothing in my email at all, ever. I don't do it. If somebody breaks into my email account, they're going to get some really cool email addresses for some UFO authors, right? But as far as that goes, that's as far as, there's nothing. I am so protective of that. I don't post. I don't tweet. I don't comment. I don't put stuff in email that is stupid. I just don't go outside of that boundary.
So I think the thing here again is about the expectation, right? So the internet exists, and it was meant to be an open source platform. It was created as an open source platform, right? And that leads to the way it's set up. It leads to the ability to do this, right? So thinking that there is a reasonable expectation of privacy in the same way with a mail system is something that is just, it's not this system isn't created that way, right? It's too easy to hack, right? It's too easy to get this information.
That's right.
And so I think what you're doing is right, and I think that idea of realizing that the internet doesn't have privacy and that there are things that you need to keep off the net is important, and that's something that it should be taught. I think it should be spread as information that a lot of people don't really understand or get.
Yeah, that's right. And it's really funny. While we were just talking about hacking and this kind of stuff, my computers went down. That's why we're 5 minutes late on the commercial. You didn't notice. You're sitting on the other side of the monitor wall. But I just rebooted. This is Fade to Black. Tonight, John Lund, Modern Masters. It's great to have somebody here in the bunker. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
Fade or not, things are never what they seem. For the past century, forbidden subjects such as UFOs, backward engineering, human abductions, secret space programs, underground bases, suppressed free energy devices, and other fantastic notions have tested the human mind, forcing it to decipher fact from fiction. Chronicling what he calls the alternative narrative, author Brad Olson gets down to the middle of it all in his best-selling book, Future Esoteric, now released in a second edition by CCC Publishing. And now, you can get Future Esoteric at a special price, plus another free book by just using the promo code Jimmy when you check out. Just click on the Future Esoteric or CCC Publishing banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Teppy.
Imagine no longer being tied down to your computer, but having the freedom to take live talk radio with you anywhere you go. TalkStream Live introduces our first ever iPhone application. The talk shows you follow now follow you, and your iPhone is now the fastest and easiest way to stay connected to the best talk radio on the internet. Let TalkStream Live transform the way you listen to radio. Listen to live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mobile Talk Radio from TalkStream Live. Now available in the iTunes App Store.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. What mic is on? My mic was on? No, it wasn't. Oh, yours was on. Oh, so that crack in the ass coffee went down the crack of my ass comment went out there during the commercial break. Welcome back, Fade to Black. We're having fun. See, I never have anybody here in the bunker. Now I've got open mics on. And you got to love it, man. It's all right. At least you know now that it's real and it is live. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Guest tonight, John Lund, live here in the studio of Modern Masters. And now, John, let's talk a little bit of gaming. What got you started? What were your favorite games growing up? Don't say Mario Kart.
No, that's a good question. Man, I played a lot of games. When I was really young, I was playing a lot of, I would just miss the NES age, where that was the biggest console out there. I started on SNES and Sega, so I was playing those old games like Final Fantasy got started on SNES, right? And
so you don't go back to like Tecmo Bowl?
I played with my brother.
Okay.
It wasn't my original genre though. But I played a lot of RPGs. I played a lot of adventure games.
Like what? Like
Final Fantasy.
Right.
There's some other games, Shining Force, Landstalker, all these kind of old, side-scroller
Diablo.
RPGs.
Did you play Diablo?
Yeah, so that's after that. Right after SNES and Sega, the computer got powerful enough to play some of these better games. Diablo. I played a lot of StarCraft.
Did you do Doom?
I played Doom. I played a lot more of Diablo. I played a lot of online stuff.
Did you do any of those original, like Doom, the original first Duke Nukem, the original first-person shooters? Did you do those too?
Yeah.
I didn't. It's so funny. I had so many friends that were into those, and it was something that never appealed to me. And what's strange with gaming, and let's actually talk about this. There are some games. People are attracted to what they're attracted to out of the gate. You're not going to get to somebody to fall in love with a driving simulator if they're not into it.
Yeah.
They're not going to go there. You will have people that will play nothing but slot machines, right? Whatever. The poker games, I never got into. And there are people out there that's all they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're attracted to what they're attracted to.
Yeah.
And so for you, what was the attraction?
To specific games or to
the styles.
Yeah, I think the styles for me was a storyline. I really liked a good storyline, even in the first-person shooters, right? So Halo obviously had a really good storyline, but the game before that was called Marathon, one of Bungie's original games.
Right.
It was this beautiful game. That
it was
in the spaceship and you're trying to escape, and the story and the richness of it, the richness and the value and the emotional content that got driven by that story and that experience.
Yeah, and for me, Final Fantasy, when it started to take off and everybody was talking about it, I love the graphics, right? And I didn't think that the graphics lived up to some of the hype behind the graphics, especially the first 2 or 3 versions of it.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the fact that the characters talked in the boxes.
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't into that. I just didn't. To me, just don't have the boxes at all. I don't need to know what the conversation, whatever. So I never got into Final Fantasy for those 2 little stupid reasons.
Yeah.
I heard that the storyline was great. I heard that it was awesome. There was all of these things about it, the magic spells and how things, and you were acquiring. It all sounded good on paper until I went to go play the game, bought it, and was so taken aback in the first 5 or 10 minutes of the experience that I never went back and played the game again. Sorry about that. See, I've got a computer that is still rebooting here. And then, but I was also into the war simulation games.
Yep.
I liked building. I like building the factories. I like going and attacking. What was that game by Westwood?
Command and Conquer.
Yeah, Command and Conquer. I went to the Westwood Studios out in Las Vegas.
Cool.
The owner and founder of Westwood, his sister was a friend of mine, so I was able to go and hang out. I went to all of the music studios. I saw how they wrote. I met the evil guy. I'm trying to think of his name. He was just walking around. I was like, dude, but I got to go to their server farm. Now, I'm going to share this with you really quick. I'd never seen anything like this. And especially in 1995, 96, when I was there, this was leading, graphics and technology. Westwood Studios at that time was Command and Conquer was right at the front of all that stuff. And their Blade Runner game was really cool too as well. I still have all of these in boxes somewhere. So, but I go into the server room and I go, dude, what is going on here? They're 4 stories tall, as far as the eye can see, red lights. I mean, huge, a warehouse full of stuff. And this is what he said. He goes, dude, we're rendering. And I go, what? All of these computers are rendering right now. And it freaked me out. Now, if you think about it today, what I have here in this studio, right? I've got the best of the best in here, as you can see. And probably one of these would render like that warehouse was rendering back then. But so I was really into it. And Command and Conquer was another type of game, even though it was an adventure, which I was into. I was into driving simulators, which I was into. But Command and Conquer really got me. And so Rome, I was really into Rome. And so all of these games Rita has played too as well with me to the end.
Cool. Yeah, well, StarCraft was one of those for me, right? I played a lot of StarCraft, and actually, the one thing I liked about StarCraft is they produced a editor, right? So you could create your own levels, and that really opened up the whole experience. StarCraft obviously was a war simulator. It was an RTS, a real-time strategy game. But by allowing people to create and script these levels, they could create games that were totally different, right? So you could open up a map, you could create a level, and it turned into an adventure game using these characters, and you could script out abilities for them to do and triggers for them to experience as they explored the map.
You didn't know there was a Blade Runner game?
I didn't know there was a Blade Runner game.
Oh, man. It was awesome. And and that was a Westwood put that out right before Command and Conquer.
Okay.
And when I went to the studios, I had already bought. This is what's funny: the original Command and Conquer I bought. I didn't know about Westwood, and I didn't know that my friend Debbie, that her brother owned it. I didn't know any of this, right?
Yeah.
And I found out that later. But so I go and I play Command. I'm waiting for the second one to come out, Red Alert, right? Which was pretty cool, too. So then I'm out in Las Vegas, and she goes, "Oh, you're into Command and Conquer?" And I go, "Yeah, well, my brother owns Westwood." I was like, say, what? Yeah, that's his game. And say, what? I didn't. And she goes, "Yeah, I'll take you there tomorrow." Yeah. And the next day, I went and met him, and it was the first time I saw, the employee parking lot was Lamborghinis. It was no joke. It was pretty trippy. Yeah. But so I really, really, really got into that. Now, the reason why I'm taking you through this history for yourself is for the audience, because you can't go and decide one day that you're going to create your own game like Modern Masters and have a fundamental foundation of why you want to do the game, because you played this game, you played this game, you played this, and you know what the history is and the legacy of certain things and the genre and what it takes to have a really good gaming experience.
Right. Well, I mean, even to add on that, right, throughout the years, we play more and more games. They get more and more advanced. And then I studied game design. It's where I got my degree in game design and philosophy. So it's really something that I learned as a young person experientially, playing these games all the time, but then got kind of solidified technically in school after them.
Did you find that when you took so you have a degree in gaming, right? Game design?
Yeah.
And what's the degree called these days?
Interactive media.
Interactive media. That's the degree everybody should, that's it. That's where it's at, right? So did you find that game design was either too much to handle, too complicated, or was it exactly what you thought it was going to be and it was the bomb?
It was different. I guess a little bit of both for me. So there's different ways of doing game design. There's some game design that's very technical, that's very mechanic driven, where you analyze the kind of psychological state of the player and then you reward them at certain times. And World of Warcraft is a perfect example of that. They've really solidified this kind of reward mechanism where you just want to keep playing because you're getting these really cool rewards at certain points, and they've really studied it and made it into a science. And there's other game design that's really experimental and really creative and really interesting as far as pushing the boundaries of what a game experience, an interactive experience is like. And that's kind of more the interesting stuff personally for me. Modern Masters, I think, is going to encompass a large gamut of different types of game mechanics and game theory. You were describing that we all have these backgrounds. Some of us have these backgrounds in games. We played all these games. And there's different parts of these games that are valuable to take and create and bring into a new system in a new way.
Is there going to be a way to cheat the game?
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what it's all about, right? So you read the introduction to Modern Masters about this idea of it being an open source kind of collaborative project, right? So in one sense, it is a game. In one sense, it's a game mechanic. Players get rewarded for doing things. There's puzzles. There's badges. There's points, and all that stuff is really important and really valuable. The other aspect of it that I think is unique and is really important and valuable to individuals is, there's a lot of games out there, but what Modern Masters, I hope, can offer is this next step, right? So what you do once you understand the game, and what that means is cheating it, is changing it, is creating something new. So built into the game system, into the structure of the game, are the tools to change it, are the tools to make it something that's your own, to make something for other people to experience, to share your vision for what a game should be or what an experience could be.
Somebody that we loved Sims, okay, and Sims was something that I thought in the beginning was just going to be completely dumb and stupid, and I didn't understand and if you think about the success of Sims and what that did for a while, I mean, that was an insane period of gaming, right? Yeah. And so I relented. and Rita and I got into Sims, and we did Sims for a couple of years, right? Now, putting that aside, is that kind of interest in character development and building your world like you did in Sims, would somebody that was a Sims player appreciate Modern Masters?
Yeah, absolutely. So for a couple of different reasons. So there's things that we're going to take from the Sims, the how the Sims worked and why people enjoyed it. And one of that is like the customizing the world and creating the world in the way that you want to, right? So Sims is kind of like a blank slate. You get these characters and they have their own little personalities or lives, and then you create something for them and see how they interact with it, right? It's obviously a simulation game. And it's kind of the kind of like a pinnacle of that type of simulation game, right? It's the kind of the end of the road for that. But what we're doing with Modern Masters is we're taking that model, that idea of customizing the world and bringing it into the real world. So when you're playing Modern Masters, you're engaging in a game that is not on a computer screen. It's in the real world, right? And there's mystery and there's magic and there's things happening, and those things are happening to you in real life. And you're experiencing that as a user, as like one of the characters in The Sims. And then again, like I spoke about, you can create those experiences for other people, right? We're building templates, we're building structures for you to create, to customize a fantasy world or a fictional world, put it into the real world and have real people explore that and see what they can come up with out of that.
Is it going to be as immersive as Myst or Myst Uru? We, again, Rita and I were big gamers, right? Myst certainly took the alternative reality, the 3D world of exploring to a whole nother level. And its beauty was second to none. Still stands up today, right? Are you going to combine something like that? When you say immersive, when I hear that word, I think of Myst,
right?
And where Myst eventually went, because it was unbelievable. It was an unbelievable game.
So it's an interesting question. I think initially we're not going to be a really tech-heavy project for a lot of reasons. We're trying, part of the mission of this of Modern Masters is to have the community be like serious collaborators, serious investors in the project. And for that reason, we're going to try and do crowdfunding. We're going to try and do a Kickstarter, and hopefully everyone out there is interested enough to check us out when we launch that. The idea is that we want to take, somebody said it on Twitter actually, the idea of an interactive story, something that you're reading, and bring that into the game world, right? There's a lot of interactive fiction out there. It's hard to get into. It's hard to really feel immersed in, because there's kind of a challenge between the consuming a story and then interacting with that story, right? That's the reason interactive movies never really took off. There was a big move, 10 years ago or something, to try out interactive movies. But there's this fundamental kind of switch that you have to go through when you're consuming something and then interacting with it. There's a different kind of emotional reaction to things. And the solution, the idea that we're trying to create is to lessen that gap, right? So when you're consuming this information, you're interacting with it at the same time. So this game that you're experiencing, we want to make it as rich as Myst. But what was really rich about Myst wasn't necessarily the visuals. I mean, they were great and they improved, but it was really the sensations and the sensual experience that you had when you were playing it, right? You felt like you were in this world, and they did that in a really atmospheric way. I mean, if you went back and play Myst now, the graphics still hold up, but you could play it again and you would still feel that richness, not because of the graphics, but because of the atmosphere
it was the atmosphere, and there wasn't loud sound effects. Right. There wasn't crazy dialogue. There wasn't flashbang. There wasn't weapons. There wasn't anything alive in the game. There wasn't any interaction with other humans or anything like that. You were solo, alone in this world that allowed your imagination to just absolutely take off in any direction.
And so what we want to do is to bring that into the real world in ways that are being experimented with and have been experimented with recently, and it's called alternate reality games. This genre of games that creates a storyline, a really rich and emotional storyline, and that injects it into the real world, right? And you don't know what's real or what's not. And that's kind of that atmosphere that's created, is this atmosphere of mystery and magic. And you could see somebody and he kind of looks at you strange, and you're like, oh, is that guy part of this game? Is that guy trying to tell me something? Is there some puzzle that I need to solve? And I think it's that kind of constant back and forth between consuming the information and then interacting with it that is has been hard to capture in film or in television or interactive kind of fiction, that we're trying to bring these game mechanics into the system in such a way that makes that more seamless. So yeah.
When you were in school, did you find that there was a formula that was being pushed on you no matter what the game design was? You had an idea, because it's all been done before. Red Alert today, Command and Conquer, that game has been replicated 1,000 times. There's 1,000 every time you go and you pick up one of these. It's that engine, that idea, with another face painted over the top of it. Yeah. Also, when you have the different first-person shooters, it's all been done before. Yeah. Lara Croft, did her thing in that adventure game. Diablo is, these were all games that were done in the beginning in an original context, right? Now it's just that formula. Let's do a Diablo. In a weird way, World of Warcraft, as cool as it is, was Diablo, if you think about it. Yeah. So in that context, to be original today, I mean, World of Tanks or whatever, they're all going to be these same types of games with another set of graphics thrown over an engine that has been done over and over again. You are trying to break in and start something that has never been done before. That's the challenge.
And that's even the challenge in describing it, actually. As we talked in Roswell, and I tried to get this message out, and it's a really hard thing to even explain, and especially explain in 10 or 15 minutes. But to answer your question about the formula, right? There was something in school, right? The message that we kept receiving from our instructors was, how can we create more emotional impact with a game? And I think that still people were challenged and trying to figure that out. And the idea I came to, which is my own idea, is just that the thing that I was talking to before about how when you interact with something, your emotion is kind of taken out of it, right? So when you in our lives, right, when you get dumped or something like that, the emotional response comes from feeling like you're out of control, right? That's when the emotions seem to be the most prevalent, when they're the strongest. And when you suddenly kind of a month later, or however long it takes you to kind of get out of that, you realize, oh, actually, I am in control of my life. I can make choices. I can do all this stuff, and the emotional content goes away. And I think that there is a kind of paradox even with creating experiences that are interactive that are also emotionally driven. And I think, and we can actually talk about Pokemon Go a little bit here probably, and the new augmented and virtual reality stuff, is that I think that people are starting to reach for that because they're trying to create more sensual experiences. They're trying to create more experiences that are actually affect you in a stronger way. I would still say that they're kind of barking up the wrong tree in the sense that they're still creating these experiences that are separated from you. And what we want to do with Modern Masters is engage your whole person. We want you to be challenged in ways that's not just like making a puzzle out of a three-dimensional object or racing a car down the street. Those things are fun, but they don't really engage you in a kind of meaningful and important way, right? So when you're playing those games, you're in this suspended space and you're having fun, but you don't really feel like, if you die or if your girlfriend dies in the game, you don't really feel sad. And I think
you don't feel sad if your girlfriend dies in the game. Okay, that's a quote from John Lund of Modern Masters. Live here with me in the bunker tonight. I will mute the microphones right now. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with John Lund, Modern Masters, right after this. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Did you ever turn to your radio for your favorite talk show to find that it's been preempted for this?
In the air to deep right center. Back goes Lewis to the wall, and it's all here!
Or this?
And I'm ashamed of you, Hillary, for voting for it.
Do you have a favorite talk radio program that's not available in your city? Just go to TalkStreamLive.com for links to the best streaming talk radio shows. At TalkStream Live, you will find live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All your favorites are here. With such a large selection, you will also discover some new favorites. On the go and still want to listen? With a mobile smartphone, simply type TalkStream Live on your internet browser. Now you can take internet radio with you. You will also find hundreds of music, news, and sports streams. Best of all, the TalkStream Live directory is free and there's never a login required. Remember TalkStreamLive.com, the fastest route between you and your favorite talk radio show.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, John Lund, is here from Modern Masters. Tonight, we're going to talk gaming. We've been talking gaming all night. We're possibly a little bit of Pokemon Go. And why the time is now for this project called Modern Masters. Tomorrow night, I want to remind everybody, John Anthony West is here. Wednesday night, Robert Schock is going to be here. And then Thursday night is going to be another Fader night. Now, John, one of the things, and I want everybody to go to modernmasters.org. You can go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the link, but go to modernmasters.org. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, of the homepage, you will see 3 selections there. The Path of Destiny, Bridge of the Beloved, and the Avatar's Trail. Now, I will personally select one of these in a little bit, and we're going to go through that. And this is the first stage of the game to character development. And I'm going to take a little quiz for one of these that John is going to actually ask me these questions in real time and how you start to develop a character. Now, this may sound a little dry, I want to say, right, to the audience. A little dry. I mean, it's okay, John, I kind of get, the audience is asking the questions that I'm thinking. I kind of get what you're going. This kind of sounds interesting, but where where is the storyline that's going to suck me in? Why should I go to Modern Masters? Yeah, I understand personal development. I see where you're going with this, and you want to change the world. I get all of it. You know, they hear you. But the storylines that are potential that you see happening for Modern Masters involve a lot of the things that we talk about on this show. Give me an example of one.
Yeah, so it's an interesting question because the storylines are both going to be created by us, but in another sense are going to be real things that are happening in the world, right? So one example might be, right, so you've talked a lot about time travel. I know you're interested in time travel, alternate parallel dimensions, and of course, you know, UFOs and the kind of mystery surrounding those things and other paranormal experiences. That's a really valuable kind of field of research and investigation because it captures so many mysterious things that we feel that are real in a lot of ways, but we are challenged by society in some way that says, oh, these things are fake and they're not real, right? So when we are creating these storylines, and I'll give you an example shortly, we want to capture that. We want to capture that that kind of hard to define characteristic that is somewhat real. You have some intuitive sense that it's real, but your logic or your friends are like, oh, you're in fantasy land or whatever that may be. And so the storyline and the experience is going to start with a mysterious person that contacts you. You've signed up, however you have signed up. You've reached out to this project, this game, and you get contacted by this mysterious person. You don't know what it is or who it is or what they want. And at first, it's really hard to understand.
Would the contact come through email or through the game, inside the game? When you say contact, how is that contact made?
Sure, it depends on your contact method. So we're creating the game to be as universal as possible. Right now, we're building an SMS system. So we're trying to build a bare bones game system that can be played entirely through text messaging. And that would be a very bare bones, like I said, where the more you engage with the website and with Twitter and with all these other parts that we're building, the more rich the experience will be. But you can still play it in a very simple way. But the contact may come through SMS, it may come through Twitter, it may come through email. It depends on how you sign up and how you prefer to be contacted. But anyway, you'll get this contact, and you'll have to figure out what this is and who this person is and what they're doing. Its storyline unfolds, and I don't want to give too much away about this specific angle, but you learn that this person needs your help. They have been trapped in some way, and there's something there that you can do that can help solve this problem. And that's kind of the introduction to the game. And as you get deeper into the puzzle, into the story and the mystery that's going on, you learn more and more about this person, about the situation that they're in, and how you can help. And part of that, we talk about character development or self-development or character development as well. And the story is deeply interwoven with that, right? So when you are playing the game, when you're getting these messages from this person, then you have to go out into the world and do something real in the world that's not only going to, teach you something maybe, or give you an experience that you might not have had before, but you're also going to be using those experiences to drive the storyline forward, to make, to help this character, to bring about some change in the story itself.
So you would, I'm trying to wrap my head around this like the audience is. Okay, so I get contacted, I start the game. Am I then going, I understand going out into the real world.
I'll give you a more specific example.
Well, hold on. You can, and you will, but hold on. So am I then going back into the game itself and looking at a visual representation of what is going on?
No. It's something that's mostly going to be in your head. The game is going to be a platform for interacting with other people. The game, the network, the website that you sign on, the app that you go into is going to be a few things. It's going to be a network to collaborate with other people. It's going to be a place where you receive messages from whoever the storyline, the game itself. It's going to be a place where you can track your progress. It's going to be, and finally, it's going to be a place where you have the tools to create an avatar, a character that you are that you personify in this game. But the experiences are all in the real world. So, for example, and we can do this. We were planning on doing this with you later if we have time. One of the first quests, one of the first tasks you get is about. It's called paradigms, and it's about kind of challenging your preconceived understanding of the world. And one of those things is science, right? Scientific paradigms is a very common phrase, and we exist in scientific paradigms. And it's interestingly enough, the paradigm that we've been in for the last 50 years, since Einstein, 100 years, is breaking up, right? We've just proven that things can travel faster than light. And that's really a fundamental concept of this current scientific paradigm that we exist in that has challenged it. So it's a really interesting time to actually explore these ideas. So, for example, you might get a quest that says that you need to go out, you need to think about some paradigm that you really believe in, and you need to search for something that could challenge that. And part of this is drawn from lessons of philosophy and lessons of self-development and self-awareness, in the sense that you are trying to challenge your belief system in a way that the current experiences that you have don't really do, right? So when you're playing a game, a traditional game, it's always kind of a safe place where you're not really ever challenged in yourself, right? And
you can only go as far as the game is going to allow you.
Yeah, and some experimental games do push you pretty far. Some things, and it's kind of challenging. But what we want to do is create these experiences that are real, right? So you get this mission from the game, and it's a message that comes in through your cell phone or through something like that, and you have to go out into the real world and solve this mission. So you maybe have to go to the library and research something that you didn't believe in before, and you find this book that's really mysterious, and you're like, whoa, this is something really interesting. And you bring that experience back into the game system, and you work with other people to solve this puzzle about whatever this paradigm is that you're trying to explore and trying to figure out. So the game itself is more of a tool. It's really all experience. You're all experiencing it in the real world. It's in your head. It's like, that's why some people is describing it as interactive fiction, because it's this idea of fiction where your imagination is driving the whole process, and we are feeding motivation through storyline and through reward systems, but really it all takes place in the real world. It's not like you're going to an online game where you are going to enter into a fantasy world. The value that we think is really important is bringing those things that you do in fantasy worlds. We spend tons of hours and tons of money on World of Warcraft or on these other fantasy games, and we learn a vast amount of things from them. We learn how the system works. We learn how to cheat them. We learn how to game them. People spend a lot of time on this, right? And one of our goals is to bring all that energy and all that time and all that money back into the real world, where we can learn how to. Part of our mission is unlock hidden human powers. There are things that have been lost in humanity that really are important for us to kind of grasp again. Tools that we had, that ancient civilizations had, and a lot of the stuff that you talk about on your show that are real or maybe real, and we need to explore that, I think. And that's kind of what we want to do by bringing these elements of fantasy and elements of fiction and elements of challenge of your belief systems into the real world and into your daily life.
And okay, and explain to me how exactly that would work. I mean, how do you know, or the creator, the collaborator, would know that the information that you want to go and find is out there? I mean, how do you know that it's real? Unless the collaborator has already done the research, how do they know that the problem is solvable? I mean,
yeah. So there will be quests that have been crafted by us, by the creators, by the game designers, by the collaborators, right? That are well crafted, that drive you towards things, that experiences that are real and that you may need, right? But the other part of it is this idea of cheating it, of hacking it, right? We talked a lot about hacking it. We want people to hack the system. If they go out and they don't find anything and bring that information back, then we've learned something, right? But I think it's the true investigation, and we're talking specifically about this paradigm idea, I think. It's the true investigation that is missing, right? There's so much information out there, and you guys talk about it. A lot of people are talking about it, but it's not ever brought into an investigative space. And there's so much energy that we can capture through gaming to really investigate these things in a meaningful and serious way. And like I said, it's going to be driven by the storyline that you need to do these things, because there's missions attached to it, and these missions are real and they're important.
What about, okay, so then would there also be, I don't want to give anything too far away about what is being developed here, but would there be websites involved that would be created?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to
just fake sources of information.
Sure. So, am
I right? Am I right in thinking like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I mentioned earlier were alternate reality games, where these projects, and a lot of them are pretty artistic. Some of them are more game driven, some of them are artistic driven, actually. But what they do is they create this fantasy world and they overlay it on the world. So you might see something in the real world that leads you to a website that's been created and edited in a specific way, that there's a puzzle there that's only for you to find out because you've already been on this trail, this clue. There was a big thing that came out recently, the Cicada 3301 was solved. There was a story about that. That was an alternate reality game. It was more tech driven, more puzzle driven, but it's that same idea where one of the puzzles in the game was you had to you had to wait at a phone booth in some city in the world and listen to this recording that was going to call at one time during the day. And so that happens in the real world, right? And those things are created in the real world. And there's going to be a part of what we're doing is that, definitely. And digitally speaking, we talk about websites that are modified. I think that there are some cool things that we're...
Right, and that's where I'm going with this. Would the player know if it was fake?
It's a meta reality game, right? So this is the question always that we want to create is what we're thinking fake, right? So with paradigms, right? You may go out and you may research something about UFOs or something, and you come back, and is that fake or is that real? Is that something we planted, or is that something that
somebody just tweeted right now? I'm confused. Are the quests real or not?
The quests are real. The missions that you get are real. They're real things. You go out and do them, and they're fun, and they're creating experiences that you don't ever have in real life, or you don't often have. So Pokemon Go, right? Is Pokemon Go real? That's a question, right? When you go out and you capture a Pokemon, is the experience that you had a real experience? It was crafted for you. It was designed by somebody. But you went out into the world, you found this thing, maybe you saw a piece of art, maybe you met somebody on the street. Those are real experiences that you had that are being generated by the game that's leading you out there. They're not part of the game itself, but they're part of the experience of playing the game.
Now, I know the audience is listening to this, and they're thinking one of two things, just like that. Are the quests real or not? And so when you mention, well, we want the game to be hacked, we want collaborators, you may be going to fake websites that you think are real websites. In fact, you may think that, I'm going to pull something out of the air, you may think you're on the real CNN.com. You may think you're on the real Wikipedia, but you might not be. And so now the audience is listening to this going, we won't know in this reality if we're in something fact-based or a fictional reality, and they're going to be confused from reality or not, which is the appeal of the game. Honestly, another dimension. You don't know if you're in this world or in another one. And that's what I'm hearing, and that's what the audience is hearing.
I think that's a valid point. I think there are going to be ways to determine what's real and what's not, and we're hopefully want to cultivate those ways. So the question here is, what is actually real, right? When you go to the CNN website, is that actually real? Is that what's happening in the world? A lot of people might argue that CNN is only showing you a very small glimpse of what's actually happening in the world, and it may be one of the least real or least accurate glimpses into what may happen in the world. And so are they getting more real stuff when they come to jimmychurchradio.com? That's a question, right?
Well, some people wonder if I'm real.
And so I think that one part of this experience is helping people to discern what is real and what's not. And maybe it's something that they have to figure out for themselves. And I think that's an important idea that, we talk a lot about educating and the education system being broken right now, maybe. And part of that is that, not a lot of people are given the ability or the opportunity to question their reality they live in, right? So when you go to the school and you learn about science or medicine, you memorize things that have been figured out since, 1500s or something like that. You're memorizing formulas and mechanisms that have been created hundreds of years ago. And what's not being given to you is the opportunity and the tools to create something that's original, in science, in medicine, in all these things that we learn. And I think that by creating these opportunities for people that challenge what they think is real or not, and giving them tools to solve them, giving them collaborative spaces, people to work with, access to information, they have the ability to exercise their mind in a way that is not often given to them. And that's kind of the meaning is I talk a lot about empowerment. We do. We want to empower people. We want to empower individuals by helping them learn new things, helping them experience new things. We're playing the games ourselves, right? We go through this challenges all the time with things that we learn that challenge the way we think, and we have to work together as a group to try and solve these things. And that's kind of the experiences that we want to create for people, so that they have those tools too, and we can all be more creative and more joyful and more having more meaningful experiences in the real world.
And if you were pitching this game, you go into pick a gaming company. It doesn't matter, right? And you're going to go in and pitch this game. How would you pitch this to them? Because you can either make this into something that, how do I want to say this, would go to the masses and appeal to the masses in the broadest stroke, and create excitement and create imagination and everything else. And then when you turn and say, we want to empower people and we want people to learn and be creative, then it sounds like a game created by public television. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have the appeal. They're going to go, dude, what are you talking about? Is this something for somebody that's 5 years old that is learning development of numbers, or is this for adults? And where do you understand how would you pitch this to somebody at a big gaming company?
Sure. So just to kind of backtrack a little bit. We don't want to pitch this to a big gaming company. That's kind of against our philosophy of why we're creating this. And I'll answer your question, but one of the reasons we're doing crowdsourcing and using...
I'm not saying that. Okay. I'm not going... That's the exact opposite of my question. My thing is, if you are okay, forget the big gaming company. Somebody that says, you know what, man, I'm thinking about checking out a new game. I'm a little bit bored. I've played all these other games. There's something else, and you're going to go, you need to check out this new game, Modern Masters, because...
So sure, you read in the beginning this little introduction that says that we expect it to kind of fall into this structure of a open source community, right? So Wikipedia has millions and millions of users, but it's supported by about 1,000 editors and an executive team and whatnot. There are going to be people that just want to play. And for people that just want to play, we're going to create a really beautiful, really rich, a really meaningful experience that's really well crafted using game mechanics and digital media in ways that are totally modern, right? All the people on our team are really skilled in what we do. And we have done this for a long time, and we're going to create these really amazing experiences. But on the other side of that is people that want more, right? People that want more than a game. The opportunity is going to be there for them to hack it, to create a new game within it, to create a new structure for people to interact with each other. So, we're going to provide the tools, and we're going to provide a collaborative network where people can create their own Pokemon Go with elves and with wizards and whatever they want. We're going to use augmented reality. We're going to do all these things. It just starts with this kind of simple idea of this game with the foundational structure in place to give people the opportunity to hack it, to create something more.
Are you going to have a code of conduct?
I think, it's a good question, and I've been thinking about that a lot recently. We all have. It's a good question. I don't know. I think that we have a set of principles that we are adhering to, that we're going to make public and are going to be part of the foundation of the structure.
Will you have the power to shut somebody down? You will inevitably have, because it's open source and collaborators, you're going to have some crazy bestiality donkey sex quest. Somebody's going to come in and try to do something nutty like that, or something involving violence and kidnapping. It could be child sex slaves from Indonesia.
Yeah.
Are you going to have the power to shut that down?
Yeah, so absolutely. The principles are one way to do this, right? There are going to be a guiding set of principles that can be used by the community to judge the, whether this is the right place for certain quests or certain activities or certain people. And if the community, like in an open source platform, right, the community is what judges whether a piece of code is written well enough to get into the code base. In the same way, I think our community, by understanding the principles that we all share, the values that we all share, are given the power to decide whether certain quests or certain activities or certain people this is the right place for them. So there will be a structure in place, modeled after open source software development platforms that I think would take care of that.
It's something I just watched this pop up in Twitter. Moderators, if you will.
Yeah.
Sheriffs.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, so those are, in the open source community, those are the people that have right access to the repository, the people that have the access to integrate new pieces of code into the software. In that sense, there will be editors at Wikipedia, right? You can put anything up on Wikipedia, but there are editors there that are working out of their own generosity to make sure that platform upholds the values of Wikipedia and upholds the value of a free sharing of knowledge. And I think that we're going to develop the tools and the structure modeled on those systems to do just that.
Yeah, somebody just said kidnapping is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to have that. You're going to have the bad element there. Yeah, when you think about all the cracks that were done in different games, whether it was, Grand Theft Auto, Sims, there was Lara Croft, topless, those cracks in the games, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now when we come back, we're going to take a break right here. When we come back, I'm going to start the first stage of character development with everybody. Go to modernmasters.org, scroll to the bottom of the page. You've got three choices: the Path of Destiny, Bridge of the Beloved, and the Avatar's Trail. Now, which one am I going to choose? Let's see. Everybody take a guess on Twitter. We'll find out when we come back. Stay right there.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Are you tired of brown rust stains on your toilets, sinks, and clothes? Does your water smell and taste bad? Don't live with these problems anymore. Hydrocare's revolutionary well water systems, available at Wave Home Solutions, gives you clean, healthy, great-tasting water from every faucet. They remove iron, hydrogen sulfide, sediment, and many other contaminants that are distasteful and damaging your fixtures. You'll be amazed how fresh and clean well water can be. Satisfaction guaranteed. Go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Fate or not, things are never what they seem. For the past century, forbidden subjects such as UFOs, backward engineering, human abductions, secret space programs, underground bases, suppressed free energy devices, and other fantastic notions have tested the human mind, forcing it to decipher fact from fiction. Chronicling what he calls the alternative narrative, author Brad Olson gets down to the middle of it all in his best-selling book, Future Esoteric, now released in a second edition by CCC Publishing. And now, you can get Future Esoteric at a special price, plus another free book by just using the promo code Jimmy when you check out. Just click on the Future Esoteric or CCC Publishing banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Teppy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Teppy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me right now on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That is what you want to do. You can follow John Lund, Modern Masters 22. Now, I'm just gonna let everybody know this is my own opinion here. I'm talking to John. John's a friend. I've known about this game and the development of it for a long time, and this is what I think. This is my own take on John. I think he's screwing with everybody. I think this is some crazy Matrix. You're going to be Keanu Reeves sucked into something that you think is fun, benefiting humanity, and then you're going to find yourself in the 12th dimension somewhere way out there with your mind all twisted up around you. You're not going to know who's your friend. Your girlfriend's just died in the game and you don't care. Your dog is lost. And then you find out that you've plugged into the Modern Masters machine, and he's now grabbed a hold of your soul. That's what I think ultimately is going on here, because he's a real nice guy. There's something funky going on with Modern Masters, and we're going to start this path right now. Okay, I'm going with the Path of Destiny. And now, if I was, and I'm going to tell you why I selected this, as I've gone through it. If I'm looking and I'm looking for my character development, my first avatar kind of thing, the Bridge of the Beloved, that's soft. That's for the women. That's fine. That's cool. That's where they're going to go. That's emotions. The Avatar's Trail, that to me, it just looking at that, I see wizards. I see fairies and goblins and that kind of stuff going down that road. That's where I feel, I don't need to know, but that's where I feel that's going on. With me, like in, I remember, let's go back. One of the reasons why I loved God of War, one of the reasons why, two swords, man, one in each hand, big, strong dude, right?
Yeah.
I'm not worried about magic spells. I just want to lop heads off.
Yeah.
And in Diablo, I didn't play the wizard character. I didn't do, you know what? I forget the guy's name, but the character, where you could hold a club in each hand.
Barbarian or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
barbarian. Right. That's what I was. I never went and did the wizards or anything like that. And you had the fairy ones, right, or elves and things. No, man, I chose the barbarian, and I went and clubbed things with my character. I eventually had like some kind of golden club of doom in one hand, and I had the I forget the name, the two-handed sword I held in one hand, right? You know what I mean? Battle axe. You remember the battle axes?
Yeah.
Right. So that was me. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with the Path of Destiny, where heroes are born. And so that's where I'm going. And the hero's path, you've chosen your destiny. Okay. All right, Beef, I'm not going to read through this on the air. That's not good radio. I'm not going to do that now. But so if I go to the Path of Destiny, then I register and I subscribe and I go through. I'm going to be hit with questions to develop my character, right?
Yeah, so the Path of Destiny is going to lead you on a quest line that is tailored to you, right? But because you've chosen that path, that it's going to be the barbarian path. It's going to be the one that's about being a warrior, about being strong, about fighting. And we're creating those quest lines right now. So
again, I didn't know this, everybody. Okay, John, did we talk about this during the break?
No.
None of this. This just popped up right now.
Right.
That's kind of strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
That I described to you how I choose my characters in other games.
Right.
And I looked through these, and you saw I didn't go and do the background. I'm just looking at the titles. It doesn't matter. It's my personality, what I'm attracted to.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's bizarre. That's kind of, see, I'm telling you, man, this is just it's the screwing of the mind. You're just messing with everybody. Okay, so hit me. Do you have questions?
Yeah. So these questions are a little generic at the moment, right? We're in the development. We're in, if you know anything about game development, we're in alpha, right? So we haven't really released anything yet. And what I want to take you through is a quick questionnaire to identify, to get a little deeper into who you are and what kind of person, what kind of game you want to play.
Are you going to fill out the answers too?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to put my answers in there.
Yeah.
And then something's going to happen at the end.
Right.
Pass or fail.
Well, you're gonna get assigned to this path that meets your.
Man, I think you need to break out the moonshine out of the refrigerator. some personality traits about to surface. All right, let's go. Okay, question number 1.
All right. Do you feel energized by spending time with others?
Yes.
Okay.
More action here, John.
Do you feel very detail oriented?
Yes.
Okay. Do you prefer to do things the established way?
No.
Do you like to dream big?
Yes.
Do you use mostly logic or feelings to make decisions?
Logic.
Are you more interested in things, ideas, or people and emotions?
Things, ideas, or people and emotions. I'm gonna have to go with ideas.
All right. Are you scientific or poetic when you describe the world?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. Man, I can't go in the middle, huh?
No.
Oh, because I'm kind of both. Then I got to go scientific.
All right.
Even though I'm softer than that. I'm more soft.
Do you plan in advance or go with the flow?
I see. I'm in the middle. It depends on the situation.
What's more often? What's like your instinct?
I'm going to say I'm more go with the flow. I'm reactionary.
Okay. Do you like to finalize decisions, or do you always try and get more information about it?
Ask me that again.
When you make a decision, do you just make it and are you done with it, or do you like to seek more info until it's the last minimum?
Yeah, I seek more info.
Okay. And then the last one is, would you describe yourself as casual and relaxed?
See, I would like to think that I look at myself as casual and relaxed. I think that people would say that I'm the exact opposite of that I'm, completely self-centered, aggressive, loud, and and hard. And I'd like to think that I'm totally casual and relaxed. So I think I'm a combination of both. I don't know. And see, if you had Rita answer all of those questions on my behalf, they would be the exact opposite all the way down the line. I'm going to have to go with, I'm going to go with my gut, how I think I am. I'm casual and relaxed.
Okay.
I'd say most people think I'm a complete dickhead, so I don't know. That's a tough one.
All right. So based on these questions right now, we're going to get to,
there's more.
No, that's it.
Okay, good.
That's it. You're good.
Man, I'm feeling exposed.
So based on these questions, what we're using these for is to identify.
John, pass me that bong and make sure the bowl is filled and the screen is cleaned, because I need to pull the stem.
So we're using. All right. Well. We're using these metrics. You may be right about what you're saying about the kind of matrix-like quality of this, right? We're using these things that we learn about the players to create and craft an experience that's really going to be the most rewarding, let's say, for the individual player. So based on what this quick questionnaire that you've answered, we've identified where your soul has come from. So the
Wait, where my soul has come from.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, go. Man, it's hot in here, man.
Yeah.
Holy crap. All right, go ahead.
And we identified this place. It's called Valiant's Edge, and it kind of matches up with the path you chose, right? The warrior's path. Valiant's Edge are the people whose souls are kind of like a traveling heroes, right? These people that are exploring the universe and doing so in a way that...
Is your mouth dry? Here, hit this. Hit this. John's as uncomfortable as I am because he's about to tell me something I don't want to hear. Just take a sip. You need this right now.
All right.
I can tell. I know radio. See, you're all better now.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
See? Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
He knows what he's doing.
Oh, man. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, so these people can be anything, but they're these traveling groups of warriors and heroes and diplomats and scientists and explorers, really at the very heart of it. And that's where your soul has come from, yeah. And so the way we use this, right, is we're gonna create experiences for you that really tweak you in a way that make you start seeing this and start exploring this idea of where your soul comes from and how you can use that knowledge to make yourself more like a warrior, more powerful.
So, do you have psychologists involved right now, or a psychologist?
We're using research that's been done by psychologists, and I think eventually we'll use some psychological stuff to
right, because I see where you're going with this. Are they doing shots in there? Yes, Cortana, he just did a shot. Is the whole A personality, B personality type, and C and D, that mindset put into this, because a lot of those questions are extracting the same responses that you would get when you're doing a personality test on somebody. And I got to tell you, I have taken a lot of those over the years. I've taken some heavy ones. I've taken Big corporations, the biggest, the most stringent type of personality trait type test. And I've tried to fool them. And I have fallen into the same category every single time, and they have been right.
Yeah.
In that, no matter what, you're going to answer questions a certain way. There's just, and it's funny how smart they are. They will be able to pull that out.
So what we want to do is, there is this psychological component of it, absolutely. But what we want to start reaching for is the other component that is what you might call spiritual. So like I said, this is where your soul comes from. This is an avenue that it hasn't really been explored, about thinking about how you think of things spiritually, right? There's some stuff in tarot or in astrology, but really kind of exploring that idea about where your soul comes from leads you to a whole other way of thinking, like an altered state, an altered mental state, right?
I'm telling you, I see where you're going with this. So you're going to eventually rule the world. That's what this is like Pokemon Go, right?
Not me. I won't.
Okay. Well played. I want to open up the phone lines really quick. 323-825-5045. And I know there's a lot of questions out there with everybody right now. 323-825-5045. I find it interesting, and because of your observations with not only games like Myst, we keep going back to Command and Conquer, but the adventure games and World of Warcraft, and you know what it takes to suck somebody in, right, and to get them to play and to get them to participate. You've studied gaming. You know what's going on in the world of gaming. And the way that this is, when somebody says we need more information, that's a good thing. I think also that you are trying to do something that's never been done before. That's hard. Everything has been done before. If you're a band and you're writing music, it's been done before. If you're an author and you're writing fiction, it's all been done. How do you do another, Lord of the Rings has been done, and every book that's come out since then is similar to that. You know what I mean? It's very, very hard to create something that is completely new. Right. But in this situation here, combining all of the elements that are out there with multimedia, what is available with motion video, alternative realities. I have a friend of mine that has an AR company down in L.A. He's one of the best special effects guys in the business, and I've known him for a long time, 20 years. And his thing now is to create artificial environments that you will not know that you are in an artificial. You will think you are looking at a 1080p, a 4K widescreen shot film of a house in Palm Springs, and you're walking through it, and you can see outside of the windows, and you can see, and all of it is 100% artificial. Yeah. Every last speck of it. And I'm talking about the shading, the shadows, the thing. But you would think that you were looking at something that is real. It has gone to another level that is could never have been imagined before. And some things were really good in years past. But today, the technology is there. And so you're going to take advantage of each one of those things.
Absolutely. So just like, it's called transmedia, right? So we're creating this project on a transmedia platform, which means that every medium is available to us for creating these experiences, from text messaging up to virtual environments and augmented reality. Absolutely. We want to use it all.
So how, when the collaborators, okay, let's talk about this really quick as I'm waiting for the phone calls to come in. 323-825-5045. How is the engine based? Is this something that you're borrowing from somebody else, or are you writing everything from the ground level up?
So we'll be writing everything from the ground level up. I think there will be models that we'll borrow from, algorithms that we'll borrow from, stuff like, the psychological tests that we will use from research that's been done. But everything we're going to build from the ground up, because we have or we'll put together from the ground up, let's say. There may be pieces that we're putting together in specific ways. But again, the reason is that we are creating something new. We're creating something also that is radical and revolutionary and is going to affect people in a real unique way. And there's not a lot of tools out there that can do that in the way we want to.
Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to John Lund.
Hi, John.
Hi.
Can you hear John?
Yeah, I have a question. I just contacted Rita, and I want to play the game with her as a companion. So once I get on there, how do I connect with her to play the game
with her?
With a partner, like a 2-player game, is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right now we're in alpha phase, and so we really don't have a lot of those structures built. But that's one of our most important things we're going to build in there is the ability to connect with friends and play the game with them. The way we're envisioning it is that you would, and on most platforms, you can invite a friend and you would get kind of teamed up with them in the very beginning. And one of the things we haven't spoken a lot about on this show so far, and it's one of the things that's really cool with what we're doing, is we're building in a lot of ways for you to build groups and to build clans and communities within the game. You can, make a flag and you can choose your colors and you can name your community or your group, and you can have a mission statement and everything. And so you have the ability, right, like we've been talking about, to really create a unique experience of your own within the game, within the project. And that's something that you can do with your friends. Absolutely. That's a really important part. Yeah.
And what's your name? I'm sorry.
Tina.
Hey, Tina, see, this is one of the, I'm glad that you brought this up, because Rita and I are and were, huge gamers. I cannot express to the audience how many hours, days, and weeks that we invested into gaming. But one of the things that we struggled with and going to the game stores and looking at it and exploring was a bona fide game, an adventure game where 2 players were on the screen at the same time going out and discovering things together, because we were a couple. We didn't want to fight each other. We didn't want to go and get Mike Tyson's boxing and go and slug each other out, even though that sounded like a good idea a couple of times. But going out and finding games for 2 people to go and solve together. So, Tina, thank you for the phone call. And I think that is something that everybody is interested in. I think it's a great call. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to follow up on that, that's, like I said, one of the most important parts. And we're going to have specific quests and specific things for 2 or 3 or whatever number of, your small group of friends that are intimate with you can play through and do as collaborators, as partners. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great. And it's something that's always been lacking out there. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to John Lund.
Hi, John. How's it going?
Hi, doing well.
I've got a question for you about the collaborators. How big would the team be that would actually justify the rewards, like the progression? Because you said you'd have a website to monitor your progression through the tasks and the achievements and all. How big would a team have to be to actually judge that and scale the person up through the game?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that initially, and for kind of the players that are part of the main game, it'll feel like a game you've played before, right? There will be, you'll solve a quest, you'll get the points, you'll get a badge for solving a quest line, and those things will be valuable. You might be able to exchange points for something. You might be able to. You can show off your badges. You can be part of your avatar. And even like Tina just mentioned, you can have teams where you have more badges than other people, and you can compete for kind of recognition for that. And in that sense,
do you think the tasks would be abstract, or would they be pretty solid to where you could kind of agree with the judging of your progression. I mean, I don't want to get too hung up on the progression part of it, but I figure as I'm playing the game, to be given a task to go out and try to complete it, and then hope that the assessment of that completion is progressing through the game the way that I would feel the accomplishment of.
Yeah, great. You know, that's a great question. And not only, and you're a gamer, I can tell. Okay, so that's great. But it's also tied into that. What about, and I thought you were going to go here, what about money? You know, is that going to be tied into the game, or is that something that you're trying to remove from the, you know, this type of game, to go out and maybe purchase something?
Sure. So let me first answer his question. The first.
I mean, not money. I mean, fake money, reward money.
Right. Yeah. Let me first answer his first question about the progressions and the abstractness of it. I think in the beginning, it's going to be a lot more defined. So when you first play the game, you're learning the system, you're learning the rules, you're working with friends. The quests are going to be more defined. They're going to be easy to understand. They're going to be, more of a typical progression. But as you get into the higher levels, as you get into the more advanced quests and the more challenging kind of missions, those things are going to be more abstract, and they're going to start messing with your brain. They're going to start making you wonder what's real and what's not, right? We've kind of been a theme here. And so in that sense, it's going to be a little bit harder to track, and I think that there will be more community involvement at that stage, right? Where there will be maybe your close group of friends judges whether you've accomplished that task or not. And then
that's kind of what I was thinking, because once you do get big with the scale of the game, it's definitely going to be time consuming to keep track of all the players and be able to progress that many people through the different tasks as they go through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just that judgment alone would be crazy involved, but still fun. I mean, it sounds very interesting. I'm almost hooked.
Awesome. And then so to answer Jimmy's question about like an in-game currency or something like that, a currency value is just an exchange of value, right? So you do something and then you use this point system or currency to exchange your time and effort for something that you want, that you value. There will definitely be that. You'll definitely have the ability to exchange your points for other things in the game. We're still writing all this content, so there's not a lot of I don't have a lot of specifics on how that's going to work or what it's going to look like, but it'll definitely be part of the program.
What do you think of the idea behind the game? What's your name, by the way?
Kenny.
Kenny.
I like the idea. I'm just seeing the design of it being very challenging, and I guess that's not the fair way to look at it. I should be looking at it as far as playing it rather than designing it, but a Kickstarter program and all that, getting everything together, trying to decide how big of a team you need to start out, and then how fast to grow that team to keep up with if it does hook. If it goes as fast as Pokemon does, and you have to keep that many people monitoring the game and progressing the game.
Right. I'll say this, Kenny. I know a lot of, I don't know everything, but a lot of the inside stuff that's going on, and the engine, the idea, and the people that are involved. This has come a lot further. It's further along than you think, and the launch is right around the corner. So I think
like it. I'm definitely interested in it.
Yeah, it's very cool. Thank you for the phone call, Kenny.
Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
Yeah, behave.
Thanks, John.
All right, you got it. Thank you so
Thanks,
much. We're going to be headed towards a break. Phone lines are open, 323-825-5045. What am I looking at here? Hold on for a second. Oh, okay. All right. I just love the Twitter family. Our guest tonight, John Lund. We're talking Modern Masters and gaming. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Going to take a quick break. More of your phone calls next. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. Stay right there. 323-825-5045.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-618-WAVE, 888-618-WAVE, or visit mydryhome.com. mydryhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back to Fade to Black. Live from the bunker, our guest tonight, John Lund of Modern Masters, new game that'll be coming out shortly. I want to remind everybody, tomorrow night, John Anthony West is going to be here. I don't know if you've seen it, but you should go check it out tonight. Watch as much of it as you can. Magical Egypt, his series. It's absolutely incredible. We'll be talking about all of that tomorrow night. And then on Wednesday, Robert Schock is going to be here. It's going to be a Gobekli Tepe megalithic type of evening. Then Thursday night, Fader night with John Rappaport. Our guest tonight, John Lund of Modern Masters. We're talking gaming. And John, I know you're looking at these too, so I kind of want to get as many of these answered as we can. From Twitter, I'm going to start from the top and go down. This is from Mike. He says, is there going to be experience for living and player versus player?
I think he says leveling. LVL.
Leveling?
LVL.
Leveling. Oh, okay. I see that as, okay, leveling. Yes. Okay. There you go. I don't have my glasses on.
Yeah, so there will be an experience point system, right? You get experience for solving quests, you get experience for doing other things. I think also we want to give experience points for collaborative stuff that you do as part of the project as well. So if you are playing the game, you're going to get experience. If you're creating content, if you are bringing your own stuff into the project to do as part of the project, then you get experience points for that. And then how you spend that experience points or how that experience points is used, it's still kind of getting specific is a question that's up in the air. There will definitely be leveling. There will be reward systems. PvP is interesting. PvP means player versus player. There will be competitions, I think. and it's something that will evolve. I mean, it's not something that's part of our first launch, giving points for player versus player, but definitely something that's obviously, you know, very rewarding type of experience is competition, obviously, and how to integrate that with our game and with the project is an interesting puzzle, and we're excited to tackle that.
Idea says, so are you guys playing the game to develop the game, not as an object to test, but as a development platform?
Yeah, it's kind of a strange way to exist in this project, right? So part of the project is this mind-bending experiences that you have, and in that sense, we're definitely playing them. We're definitely challenging ourselves in the same ways that we want to challenge players, in order to ensure that those experiences are rich and meaningful. And also as a dev platform, we're creating internal betas and alphas right now for each part of the game. We're exploring how the structure works and all that stuff. And in that sense, it's more of a experiment to see which kind of structure and rules work out the best to make the best experience.
So it's kind of like, and I understand where idea is coming from. It's like, what's first, the chicken or the egg?
Right.
So you have to have the initial launch, the initial engine, the character development page. You have to have all of that going. So that will be and you have to have, you know, storylines that are going to kick off. Because you don't have the players yet involved with the game to contribute, right. So you have to have the initial engine and everything ready to go first, and then the development of the game comes from the collaboration that will develop as the game is played.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're doing that in a small way right now, right? We have a small game running, and you can sign up on our website and you can become a part of that. And we also have a small group of collaborators that have signed up that want to help us. And those collaborators have, they're getting in on the very ground floor, so they have a lot of influence and direction as far as, what things they're creating and how we interact with them. And they, that interaction that we have right now while we're building that is what's gonna help us define the structure when we actually launch the full platform.
And is it going to cost money to play the game?
That's a great question. I think that there's going to be a small membership fee, monthly membership fee, but it's an important thing for us to also provide this project for people that don't have the money to do it. And I think there are ways that we're going to build in to give people opportunities who don't have the money to still be part of it.
And how so?
Well, through, I think, collaboration. So, they can donate time, they can donate ideas or whatever it may be that they are, their talents or their skills, and they can become a part of the network in that way and then take part of the game.
So you're a socialist?
I wouldn't go that far, but I think that it's important for everybody to have access to this, and if we can find ways to give everybody access, then that's a great.
Oh, so you're Bernie Sanders? I'm just playing, man. And you know what's so funny? I've managed to get through the entire show tonight, not mention the DNC. Well, sort of, I did, I guess, in the beginning. Yeah, the hacking that went on for the DNC. Okay. Marianne said she wants to know, are there going to be some pretty cool graphics? Now, look, you can't have a game today. I mean, graphics have gotten so good that is half of the sale. And they've always said, this goes back to Shakespeare, man. Theatrics is half of the sale.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't have a game today without amazing graphics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so there you go. There's the question.
Yeah, there absolutely will be. We already have a few awesome artists working for us. We have some cool collaborators that are doing art already for us, with us, let's say. I mean, we're all doing it together. But absolutely, we're going to be creating a really cool visual style. And the visual style is going to vary also based on how you're playing the game. We want to create different styles for different people. Like you went down the path of the Avatar, the Avatar's trail, let's say, and that might lead to artistic directions in the platform when you play it that you are experiencing that are synced up with how you want to play the game.
Right, and so my barbarian avatar Do I get my own face?
Yeah, you can create however you want, man. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really open to how you want to play it. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, let's see here. What I just had a question here, and I've lost it, and I'm not scrolling, everybody, so I'll find it again later. Why do I think, sense, feel, wish, and know that Modern Masters is standing in a gate to a bridge to a nested or greater reality? There you go.
Oh, well, that's a good question. I think that maybe you are a chosen one, man. Maybe you are really getting this from a different that different meta reality is speaking to you, and I think that that's a really important part of this is understanding that there is something bigger going on here. There's something that's a little mind bending, a little more mysterious and far-reaching than what we're talking about right now.
I knew this question was going to come up, and I'm going to take a quick peek here. Describe why you chose this logo. Now, I know part of it, but I don't know the rest of it.
Yeah. So this logo actually was created by an artist that is a good friend of mine. There were some parts of it that are original creations of his, and some part of it that is kind of a traditional symbol that's been used in magic and in mystery schools and in sacred geometry is part of it as well. The center hexagon, of course, is an MM. As you go out from there, you get into these kind of mysterious and kind of interesting optical illusions, right? There's so many different ways to examine this, and I think it really represents the kind of the experiences that we're trying to create, right? That they're different ways to experience it. There are different dimensions that are built into this thing, right? It's at one sense a very flat image, but as you dive in deeper to it, you see that there's more dimensions that initially caught your eye. So there's a history to it. There's a cultural history in kind of the geometry that we're using, but there's also a lot of modern elements that we like as well.
Is there a rough estimate for the initial release date?
We're going to do our Kickstarter in about 4 to 6 weeks, so late August, early September, and then we are aiming for a release date of December this year for like an initial launch.
There is going to be the inevitable comparisons to the Machine, the Illuminati, the Cabal, Pokemon Go with the NSA and the CIA and the collection of data. Here, people are giving up personal personality traits and giving up personal information that is going online. This is going to happen because this is... and it's going to be compared to, I know it's going to happen, The Matrix and this alternative reality that you're getting sucked into and losing yourself into. What are you going to do about that? And how do you answer those questions when they arise?
Sure. So a lot of those things are very fundamental to us. Security, privacy. We know that we are taking in personal information. And as we talked about when we started this episode, the privacy concerns are real, right? Those things really exist, but it's built into our structure. We're going to provide as much security as we can, as much privacy as we can. We're going to have as much as we can in-house as far as servers and data. And then to kind of talk to the other point about the Illuminati and about established kind of control structures that are already out there. We're building this again as an open source platform. The project is going to be run by the users. There are going to be legal obligations in place for us as an organization that makes sure that the rights and the desires of the community are put first above or above profits, as far as making sure that we can run a business, but at the same time making sure that our community feels safe and secure and valued. So that's a very important question, and that's fundamental to what we're creating.
Somebody is inevitably going to ask me or ask you the question when you're talking about this team and you're talking about artists, you're talking about code writing, you're talking about, dang, how big is this team right now?
Right now, we have probably, depends. There's a few people working full time, and we're self-funding this right now until we can raise money. There are a lot of people that have joined as collaborators, friends, and new friends, right? People that we didn't know before that really love the project. You guys have been really involved, and you've been very valuable to help us. So as the team is really large as far as like who is actually putting effort into this.
Are we looking at, right now you've got a base of 30, 40, 50 people?
Yeah, people that are really interested in helping out.
Yeah, that's incredible. And you guys, can I say her name? Dana, right? Okay. You and Dana have been out working on this around the country right now.
Yeah.
And so the base of operations, where's this? Right now you guys are like a nomadic caravan because you have stuff going on here in LA and other cities around the country.
Yeah.
Where's the base of operations going to be?
We don't know yet. Yeah, we're not sure.
John is a man of many words. Now, the one thing that I think everybody's excited about is the open storyline and this going in so many different directions. And all of that is cool. But having to callers, everybody stay right there. If you're on hold, stay right there. Is how... When we're talking about graphics and we're talking about a game and we have a collaborator, will there be stages of the game that is done outside of the game and a collaborator will actually bring in something and add it to the engine?
Yeah, absolutely. So there will be a very well-crafted storyline. That's our kind of fundamental storyline, right? That's really well designed, really well written, is really engaging. And then, not to say that collaborators can't create some things that are that engaging and well written. It's just that that's going to be our focus,
right?
And so collaborators can come in and bring their own projects or bring their ideas. And say you wanted to bring in a quest about something time travel, something that you're very specifically interested in. You have a lot of knowledge. You could bring that in, create a storyline for it, and we'll provide you with the templates and all that stuff that could help you kind of turn that thing into something that could fit in as a game.
And then, but I'm not I don't do rendering and shading and
right. So the other thing
and lighting.
Yeah. So the other part of that is, and an important part of this is kind of this collaborative network and something we've started calling the Lotus, which is this idea that everything's kind of interconnected and intertwined. So there will be people on there that can't do what you can do, and then they can offer you their services. You can offer your services to create something. And so it's a kind of a community of sharing and collaborating together.
And then what about the consistency of the look of the game and also standards in quality?
Yeah. So again, that's going to be something we'll need to develop in a really structured way. But we're going to have a core team that is developing really high quality, really well designed content. And then content that comes in from other people, from collaborators, will be of varying quality, of course. And there will be quality controls and reviews, like with an open source code platform.
That you have to have.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to John Lund.
Hi. Okay, this is kind of freaky though, but I'm watching one of the YouTube on Fade and Black.
Uh-huh.
And I was watching about this 17 years Area 51 guy. And it's kind of weird and stuff. And I don't know, but it's kind of freaky. I've been watching
you're talking about the Area 51 caller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of freaky from 1997. That's when that guy called Art Bell.
Right.
All that stuff was happening, and all of a sudden the line just shut off or something.
Right. And so then you listened to him call into this show 17 years later, right?
Yeah, that was kind of freaky. I found it on YouTube right now. I'm just watching it.
Okay. Well, just to let you know, all of that 17 years ago on Art Bell's show on Coast to Coast, and the same guy, his name is Brian Glass, the same guy called into our show, and it was all an act. It was an act on Art Bell's show. It wasn't real. He was just calling in to have fun. And he recreated it on our show to show everybody how it can feel real. But I can promise you, it wasn't real. It was all just somebody. Both guys. There was
so
two.
It was just like a prank, right?
That's all it was. That's what it was on Art Bell's show, and it's the same guy, Brian Glass, and another friend of his, Michael Oming, who's a comic book artist. And Brian Glass is a comic book writer, and the two of them were having fun listening to Art Bell late at night, and they thought that they'd call in and have fun, and they did. And then everybody thought that the call was real, and Art knew it wasn't real. But, it's just part of having fun. And then over the years, I'll just tell you right now, over the years, the urban legend kept building on itself, and everybody thought that the call was real, and it wasn't. And then, so Brian, who I know, who's a friend of mine, and Michael Oming, they told me how they did it, and I was like, wow. You want to do that again on my show? Why don't you just call in and show? And that's what they did. So they called in and recreated it, and then I allowed Brian. If you listen to the entire thing, listen to the end, and then you can hear Brian tell everybody how he did it on Art's show and how he did it on mine. And
is it this one?
Everybody's on.
Yep.
Everybody's on all at the same time.
Yep.
Was it that one?
Yep.
Yeah. And here there was another one on Art Bell's. He got a call.
Yeah, it's the same guy. It's the same guy. It's the same guy. Okay.
Yeah, the 1998 one.
Yeah.
And it kind of seems like he was kind of calm though, but he didn't. At that time, that phone didn't shut off.
Yeah,
Art.
Yeah, and so, like I said, just go and just listen to him, listen to both of them, and you'll cop the vibe, and you'll see that it's the same guy, and he was just having fun with Art, as he did on my show, and then we just disclose, and he tells everybody how he did it and how it happened. And see, this is the thing. Calls get dropped all the time on my show. Things go wrong. The computer can go down. Things go down, and it just so happened that at that moment on Art's show, the system went down. It wasn't anything nefarious. It wasn't the government. It wasn't this. It just happened to, happen in the middle of that phone call. So it freaked everybody out, and they thought that it was, a real guy. From Area 51. So, no, it wasn't. His name is Brian Glass. Glass, and you can go look it up and go check him out. He's a pretty famous writer, and there you go. So that's all it was. It was just two kids having fun. Yep, two kids having fun, and over the years, the urban legend just built up that the mystery behind the call, but that it just turns out there was no mystery, just a couple of kids having fun. So,
but how did he? But on the 1997, how did he know to say those long words when he was in the 1997?
Right. But he was a writer. He is a writer. He's a very creative guy, and so they were writing a story at that time about somebody that escaped from Area 51, and they were writing a comic book. Okay, and they were drawing the pictures to it. And they had this whole thing worked out, and that's all it was. It was just, he's a writer. He's a really, really good writer, and that's all they did. So they took what they were writing in their comic book, and they called in Art Bell. They acted everything out, and then boom, the phone went dead. That's all it was. And so that's all he did was just called into my show too. And I tried to tell everybody, if you go and listen to it again, listen to my voice when I say, look, Now I'm going to introduce you to the original Area 51 caller, and his name is Brian Glass. And I introduce him to everybody, and he tells everybody the whole story, how it happened. You know, it developed into this whole thing, but trust me, it wasn't real. Okay, it's just a prank call, just a couple of kids having fun, and sometimes you don't intend for things to spin out of control, you know, like they did. But that's all it was.
And some of the people get in trouble from prank calling, right?
Yep. And well, you know what? And that's the beauty of it. Because when I did the fake call with Brian, and we dropped the call and we did the thing and I played the music, my phone lines lit up here. And go and listen, everybody. Hey man, that was the Area 51 call. Oh my God, that was your phone dropped. And I go, what happened? Did everybody hear that? I was just playing along too. You know, and then in the end, I just tell everybody the truth. You know, it was all fake. But everybody got sucked into it again. They thought it was real, and it was fake. So, all right.
Am I on air?
Yeah, you're live. Everybody's listening to you right now. What's your name?
Oh my God, my name is Arlen Phil, and I've been trying to look for Art Bell's phone number, wanted to talk to him about aliens.
Yeah, I have no idea where he is today.
And
okay.
Yeah, I've been listening to. I listened to his radio all day, and they were talking about monsters, paranormals, and and aliens.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask a question about the I know that at Jerusalem there was a star
that was all fake.
falls.
Yeah, that was all fake too. The one that blasted up.
Fake.
Yeah. But if you want, you can call back on Thursday nights. I have open lines on Thursdays.
Okay.
All right. You have a great, safe night.
Okay. I'm just kind of nervous right now.
It's okay. It's okay. It's at the end of the show, though, so I have to say good night.
Okay.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night. Yeah, see, isn't that interesting, John, how the Area 51 caller, after all these years, no matter what I say to anybody, they still think that it's real.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the same problem that you're going to have with modern masters.
Well,
it's this. Are you prepared for these issues?
I think we're getting there. I mean, we're the more we experience it, the more we go through it ourselves, the more we get ready for it, and you know, it's a learning process for everybody. We're all growing, we're all getting better at this. So,
all right, we're at the end of the show. How does everybody register? How does everybody play the game that you've got ready? What do they do?
modernmasters.org, and then be sure to follow us for more information at modernmasters22 on Twitter, and we're on Facebook, modernmasters22 also.
And so you have a short game that they can go and play now.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get in right now and then start playing.
Okay, there you go. modernmasters.org. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I want to remind everybody what's going on this week. Tomorrow night, John Anthony West is going to be here. He just got back from Egypt. We'll be talking to him about the breaking news out of Egypt and what's going on over there right now. And, of course, we're going to talk about all things Giza. And then on Wednesday night, Robert Schock's going to be here. It's going to be a megalithic evening. Rita and I just went through the big Egypt exhibit at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. We've got those photographs. We've got a complete gallery that's going to be up tomorrow night, too, as well, that will run along with the show. And then on Thursday night, the one and only John Rappaport will be here, and it will be another Fader night taking your calls all night long. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark T. Kovar, LJ3, Renee, Mark Dunbar, Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar, Fady by Dale. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA, The Planet. I'd like to thank John Lund. modernmasters.org. Go, sign up, and play the game now. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter right now at JChurchRadio. Everybody be safe. Go Backley Tappy.